of a family's ability to pay.
If you know a child we can help, call or go online now.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
All right, we've got a little bit of a rushed start here, so we won't get into a full pregame show. We will do that on the second game of this doubleheader, which this wasn't originally a doubleheader. It was going to be a game on Thursday for the girls and a game on Friday for the boys, but we've now got a standard doubleheader here due to the weather outside. It was unsafe driving on Thursday. A little bit safer here today, thankfully. We will get you the starting lineups here before we get to tip-off, which will be brought to us by Main Street Scoops and Sweets. For the visiting Paola Panthers, they've got Yasmin Rutledge, Ellie Smale, Brylan Wicker, Amanda Pitzer, and Ashlyn Katzer. And on the Cardinals side, Hannah Keltner, Bryn Dieterding, Ava Dye, Miranda Kuntz, and I'm missing one. It is, of course, Izzy Brunkow. So these are two teams with inverse records. That's right, the Cardinals are 13-1, and their opponents are 1-13. These Lady Panthers have had a rough year here. They started the season 0-10. They did get a win over Bonner Springs, and then they've dropped their last 3. Compare that to the Cardinals, who won their first 8, only lost in a championship game, and have not lost since. It definitely is a matchup that favors the Cardinals, but they've actually had a hard time sometimes in the games where they are favored, but of course they've managed to come out victorious pretty regularly still. So work to be done, and Bryn Dieterding will get our first points here today. It's Hayden Harves and Reed McAvoy with you on the call here tonight. Thank you for choosing to spend your Friday night with us here on Eudora Sports Live and also on Paola Sports Live. Hello to everybody watching on the simulcast. We forgot last game, Hayden, to say thank you to everybody that carried us through. It was the Paola Sports Live team as well as the Spring Hill Sports Live team, which I hear that you joined for that call, but I wanted to thank them. Was that right, or am I mistaken there?
I mean, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, well, thank you to the to the Varsity Sports Live teams that carried us through, and a basket here right as time expires for Brylan Wicker to tie this game.
Yeah, I have picked up quite a few games this year, so I had to think about that one for a second, but
it wasn't a Eudora game is what you're saying?
It was not a Eudora game.
Okay, well, my mistake.
It was,
it's fine.
let me think.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone at
to
Varsity Sports Live that helps us do these seasons, covers the away games for us, saves us the travel time.
Yeah, it's a cool thing nonetheless that we have enough of these guys that we can kind of cover our home games and rarely have to travel a whole lot farther than that. It's a pretty special thing we got going on here. Quite a privilege to you and I.
Brunkow to Kuntz. Out for Keltner. Into Dye. Nice pass for Brunkow, who just put a little too much on it. It did tip off the rim, though, and Kuntz got the rebound. So with a reset shot clock, Dye will finish.
Right, the Panthers are looking pretty good right now, so this is a game where the Cards are going to want to do everything they can to not start super slow, try to get points where they can. It doesn't seem like the way they're playing early. This is one of those teams that's going to let the Cards just walk away from them.
Something that will, I'm sure, come into play as time goes on. Wow, another great finish for Brylan Wicker is the size of the Paola roster, and that's not to say their height. That's to say the amount of players. They only have 7, so 5 are on the court right now. Dieterding is going to sink a 3. The Cardinals, of course, have a much bigger bench. It's too long of a list to even count how big the varsity roster is, but they get to rotate quite a bit, and the Panthers will not be able to without at least bringing in JV players. This one's going to go out off of Wicker, who's got both of their baskets so far.
Sounds like that might not be uncommon.
Yeah,
see some JV players.
Could come into play for sure as time goes on. I imagine that's a large contributing factor to the ugly record that they've got this season is just as the game goes on, they're not really able to see them out with high energy. Dieterding drives into the paint, checks out for Keltner. Now Brunkow for a long 2. She'll get it, nothing but net. Her first points.
Yeah, definitely seems like that could have a lot to contribute to that record. and I would expect that's going to explain a lot of the aggression early on, right? He's trying to get points and keep this thing close because they know.
Wicker in the paint, gets another finish.
They know a little later into this one that only mere 7 players on the bench could wear on him quite a bit, so they're going to try to keep this thing tight for as long as possible.
Dieterding sneaks through some quick back and forth basketball here to start. She's already got 7 points. Yeah, I think the key for Paola is going to be to score quick here, which Wicker is doing very nicely. They can keep getting it into her, or whoever can score. Here is Wicker now. But it's going to be getting those points early. Here's a 3 off the glass and good. Yasmin Rutledge gets in on the scoring.
No, certainly not letting them walk away. Said we didn't expect it. They're proving it thus far.
Keltner. Brunkow nearly lost the handle. Gets it out for Dieterding. Thought about the 3. 15 on the shot clock. Now 10. Keltner by herself. Couldn't get it, still loose. I think last off Paola. No, they say last off the Cards. And Paola will now make a change, putting in Bryn Sanders, one of their 2 substitutes. Takes the place of Ashlyn Katzer. The Cards make a couple changes. Warren and Owens go in for Keltner and Brunkow. So 11-9 here. Paola keeping it close. Big part thanks to Wicker, but Rutledge's 3 was also huge.
Yeah, that was a tough 3 nonetheless as well.
In the paint now is Smale. And a travel going to be called here on Amanda Pitzer. So if we are to say that the key to the game for Paola is their start, that would mean that a similar key could be for the Cardinals to get an early lead, something they can hold on to and continue to grow as time goes on and fatigue sets in for these Paola Panthers.
Yeah, that's a key for sure. I think these Lady Cards are probably fairly confident that even if they don't have a super huge lead or a lead at all, really, that they can hold on to it and they can kind of outlast these Lady Panthers. But absolutely, you're right. If they're able to get a lead early on and hold on to it, the later into the game wears and the tougher it gets for the Panthers to keep their players fresh. Yeah, playing to the Cards' hand.
I think that this first half will be really big. As here's a 3 for Paola off the back of the rim, and Dieterding brings it down. And that'll be the score at halftime could be very influential on the way that this one plays out in the end. Rychek is into the game and couldn't get that pass from Dieterding.
It seems like they know it too, right? They know how significant it is for them to not fall into that hole the way they're playing right now, being really aggressive, taking a lot of shots that, frankly, I didn't expect to see them take early on, and they've made a couple.
Katzer goes in for Smale.
Some nice moves.
There's been some good defense around the paint for the Panthers so far. Trying to add some offense to it. It's been a little bit. Here's Sanders, the one substitute, back to Katzer. Here is a 3. It comes up. Actually, it was a pass. Don't know if it was a pass or a shot. It worked out as a pass into the paint. And Wicker will draw a shooting foul and go to the line, their leading scorer.
That was my first thought when that shot went up, is that doesn't look like it's got enough air on it.
If it was a disguised pass, it was absolutely beautiful. And whatever it is, it worked out in the end as Wicker with a chance to tie this game. Wicker is one of 2 seniors on the team, Yasmin Rutledge being the other. Those are the 2 scorers so far for Paola. She does not get either one to go, though, there. So the Cardinals maintain their 1 possession lead. Here's a handoff to Dye. Tried to sneak into the paint, lost her footing a little bit, but enough to get it to Rychek, who scores. Rychek, our player of the game last game, getting in on the scoring, as she has been doing a lot more recently in these last few weeks.
She has.
And a timeout will be taken by Coach Jamie Butler on the Paola side of things. Hayden, 13-9. What have you seen so far out there? Is this a good start for the Cards, a good start for Paola? What are your thoughts?
I think it's a pretty good start for both. I think the Cards have played, the way we've seen them play most of the year coming out to start the game, right? They look fairly loose, comfortable. The priority has been a lot of just getting into the flow of things. And the Panthers are very clearly trying to keep this thing tight. They want to keep the pressure on the Cards. they don't want to let them get to the point where they can kind of hit that cruise control button and just glide through the rest of this thing. And I think it is in large in part, as you mentioned, to the fact that their bench is not very deep. They know that the later they go into this game, it's going to get
missed is a pretty nice Cardinals run. There was a ridiculous buzzer beater. Ava Dye got a breakaway, couldn't get the layup to go, but then Carly Owens found her in the corner, and with .8 to go, she got it up and sunk the corner three. So the quarter ended 23-11, and then here in the second, so far there's been one free throw made. There will be a chance for more now. Amanda Pitzer made 1 of 2, and now going to the line will be Ellie Smale.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame that one didn't get caught, because that was a really, really impressive shot from Ava Dye. This arena erupted. And just like that, little explosiveness from the Cards gives them a good lead.
Yeah, as you can see from the score, the Cardinals pulled away here. It was close for a while there. I think we were at, I know we were at 11-9. I think we were at 13-11.
13-11.
And the Cardinals just ran away with it. Smale goes 1 of 2.
Yeah, they went from only up by 2 to scoring 10 points unanswered to end out that first quarter.
And we said that this start was going to be huge. That's a very nice omen for the Cards. All the way across
Long
to Keltner.
shot.
Into the paint, and she will draw a shooting foul. So to the line goes Keltner. Someone who's been a little more involved in the scoring recently, not the last couple of games, but only a couple of weeks ago had some very high scoring performances. Doesn't get the first to go here. And goes 0 for 2 at the line.
Giving the Panthers opportunities, leaving the door open just enough here that if Paola can get hot, certainly opportunities to reel this thing in a little bit closer.
In the paint and off the glass, Smale couldn't get it. And a whistle blows in favor of the Cards.
Reed, I was taking a look at it a little bit earlier. The points scored for the Cards, we obviously know they average right at 50 points a game, only give up a little under 40. The Paola Panthers average scoring about 34 points a game this year, and they average giving up about 54. However, in the last couple games of the season, they've scored 40 plus a lot more often. Started off the year scoring 20s and even in the teens quite a bit. So the offense has been humming for the Panthers a little bit more recently than it has all season long.
Yeah, that win against Bonner, they put up 40. So I think that could be a big thing for motivation. That'll be a Cardinals basketball, as it was last touched by Pitzer.
And then since that win, 42, 37, 40. Whereas at the start of the year, I saw 23 a couple of times, 17 once. So definitely a little more reason for confidence for Paola.
Dieterding all by herself, couldn't get it. Keltner, though, gets the rebound in the paint. Under a lot of pressure, gets it out for Brunkow to slow things down.
Something the Cards are really good at, setting up those long threes.
Oh, wow, put the handles on Rutledge, but then lost the handle on it. And now Ava Dye will come and grab Carly Owens.
And then also something for the viewers from both Paola and Eudora, something to watch as both these teams play each other, get a little more familiar with each other. These two teams play in Paola again just 10 days from now, both on the guys and girls side. So this game not only a regular game for these two teams to play and try to win, but a chance to get a little more familiar with an opponent that they will see fairly soon down the line.
Going for 3 here is Smale off the back of the rim. Rutledge comes away with it.
Wow.
So now Smale again. And foul called in favor of the Panthers.
On the floor on the Cardinals, Randy Coombs, her first personal. 13 foul on the court.
There's a third team foul for Eudora. First for Rychek. That's Kuntz, my bad. That one taken away by Dye, going back the other way. Only one Panther player to beat, going to pass it off for Brunkow. Goes in and stretches the lead out to 12 once again for the Cards.
Pitzer in the corner at Dye, got some hands to it, so it'll still be a Panthers ball with now 26 on the shot clock, 5 before halftime.
Ava Dye's had a heck of a run in that last minute or two. A lot of involvement both on defense and offense. That big takeaway did end up resulting in points.
Oddly enough, only 2 points apiece here this quarter after a very high-scoring first. There's a little bit more coming from Pitzer. Up to 3 points in this game now. Keltner, the entire Paola team was inside the perimeter by the time that she was facing the basket. Some quick get back on defense there from the Panthers. And then Dieterding tries to break them all down. Keltner drives to the paint, high off the glass, doesn't get it, and the rebound is Sanders. Some nice positioning from the Panthers. What can they do on offense now? She sets her feet, finds Sanders, who spins around Dieterding. Again, one of those high passes, trying to get it into Wicker. Looks like she may have stepped out, though, along the baseline. No, rather called for a foul.
It is going to be important as we still have a little ways to go here in the second quarter. As you said, winning quarters when you're trying to orchestrate a comeback is so important, even if you're just winning them by a little bit. So they came into this quarter down by 12. Look out to just try to eat away that gap as much as they can, no matter how little.
Currently they lead the quarter 4-2. Brunkow under the glass, couldn't change that. A loose pass, but ends up finding a teammate. It's Smale for Rutledge. Across now again to Rutledge. Goes for the three off the glass. It finds Wicker, who scores. A fortunate bounce there for the Panthers.
The Cards currently on pace to score near 60 points in this game, the pace they're setting, which is right about on track with their last couple of games. That one knocked out will go the way of the Cards. Yeah, those last 3 games, as I said, where they'd scored right at 40, if not just under 40 points, bumping up their average points per game. They've also given up 65, 69, and 62, bumping up the points allowed as well. So scoring a lot more on offense, but also giving up a lot more on defense. Here's Brunkow from 3. A deep one goes in for Brunkow.
Puts her up to 7 points, tied with Bryn for the team lead.
Izzy Brunkow shooting threes?
Absolutely.
What kind of a day?
Got a hand in on the ball for a second. Rutledge across to Sanders, who again turns on Dieterding. She's done that twice now, and then draws a foul. So she'll go to the line. This is the only player that we've seen outside of the starting 5 for Paola so far, Bryn Sanders.
Bryn Sanders at the line for Paola.
But I do see someone on the Paola bench from the JV squad that has at least taken off their overshirt, so we might see an appearance from someone else. But so far it's just Sanders helping out the starting 5, but she goes 0 for 2 at the line. Dieterding for Owens. To Dye in the corner. She's already made 1 from that area. Make it 2.
It's a very similar spot to where she made that buzzer beater to end out the first quarter. A little more rush on that one, but to paint a picture for those of you viewers.
And now a timeout going to be taken. We'll go ahead and take a break as well.
The MVPs of BBQ. That's Barbed Wire Barbecue in Eudora. Family owned and operated, Barbed Wire Barbecue delivers great food and small town hospitality at a valued price. High quality hickory smoked meats, house seasonings, and time tested recipes put Barbed Wire Barbecue a cut above the rest. Kick off your weekend with their delicious brunch on Saturdays and Sundays and enjoy game day your way with Barbed Wire Game Day Packs. Visit them at 601 East 10th in Eudora or see their full lineup of flavors at barbedwirebarbecue.com. High-quality foods, friendly service, great prices, and a connection to the community that is unsurpassed. That's Jean's Heartland Foods in Eudora. Family-owned, Jean's Heartland Foods offers a convenient one-stop shop, delivering the everyday essentials you need to specialty items from around the world. Jean's friendly staff is here to help you find exactly what you're looking for. You have options when it comes to feeding your family. Choose to support local. Choose Jean's Heartland Foods, 1402 Church Street in Eudora, or online at heartlandfoodstores.com.
31-17. Some extra whistles blowing here before we get going. And now it's a Paola ball. So it must have been some violation there on Dye's inbound. So the Panthers start with the ball here.
It wouldn't be a broadcast if you and I didn't get a little confused about a call at least once.
Rutledge with Brunkow in her face, finds Sanders. Jump pass, 7 on the shot clock. Across for Sanders, who goes for 3, and at a really tight angle, she gets it.
That's such a difficult angle to make a 3 from. Really impressive setup, really impressive shot. Here's
Long
Brunkow
2
now.
for Owens, who's already made
Owens.
1. Couldn't get that one to go, though. But yes, what a tight angle for Sanders. That was a very low percentage release point, but she ended up getting that exactly right. And now, can she get it right? She cannot. Allie Smale.
Yeah, we talk about how high.
Great pass for Brunkow. Sorry, Hayden.
You're
Brunkow
good.
finishes.
Yeah, we talk about how high percentage those high arcing threes are, right, where they spend so much time in the air. You line it up to where it almost drops right in. That was the polar opposite. Incredibly difficult shot. Nonetheless, pays it off with 3. Gap still sitting at 13, though. Panthers going to look to cut this thing down a little bit more.
A travel call, though, will take the possession away.
And by the way, a happy Friday and happy Valentine's Day to all of our viewers. Once again, both on the Eudora and Paola side of things. Glad you've chosen to spend your evening with us.
Brunkow and Dye go out. Warren and Rychek come in. A minute left in the quarter. Layup doesn't go for Dieterding. Both teams thought the other touched it last, and the Panthers were correct.
If both teams think it, one will be correct, right? A fairly relaxed approach on defense for the rest of the Cards, but a foul going to be called on that one. Going to go the way of the Cards. It's going to be Warren on the inbound to Dieterding.
30 seconds on the shot clock, so the Cardinals will have to shoot this possession. Well, they turn it over here as Rutledge gets a hand, but then Dieterding takes it right back, spins past Rutledge, drives towards the basket, corner for Keltner, grabs her own rebound, doesn't finish, shot clock's off now. Panthers have the ball. And they stepped out along the baseline, so the Cardinals will get an inbound.
Man. I briefly mentioned it earlier, not wanting to throw away points when you can possibly get them, right? Especially when you're down, trying to win some quarters and get back into this thing. So tough to have those opportunities taken away like that.
Looked like a no-look pass from Warren for Owens, who then gets it taken away, but it's a jump ball, so it still is Panthers ball. So Rylan Wicker and co. will have 17 seconds to try and get a last-second basket here. Spinning is Pitzer.
I'd expect them to try to slow things down just a little.
Wicker. Sanders tried to put it up, deflected. Now the Cardinals have it. Will they go for something long here? It's loose for Rutledge, puts it up, and scores! Sloppy there on the Cardinals. They were indecisive for how they'd end the quarter, and the Panthers made up their mind quite easily. Yasmin Rutledge sinks a 3. It's still a nice Cardinals lead, though, 33-23. But the Panthers did have the last laugh as we go to halftime. It'll be the halftime show when we're back.
High quality foods, friendly service, great prices, and a connection to the community that is unsurpassed. That's Jean's Heartland Foods in Eudora. Family owned, Jean's Heartland Foods offers a convenient one-stop shop, delivering the everyday essentials you need to specialty items from around the world. Jean's friendly staff is here to help you find exactly what you're looking for. You have options when it comes to feeding your family. Choose to support local. Choose Jean's Heartland Foods, 1402 Church Street in Eudora, or online at heartlandfoodstores.com.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter, male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers, we have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
More time before you wake up in the wild.
Our natural world needs us now. Step by step, side by side, together, we can find a way to ensure that all life on Earth can thrive. To learn more about how you can help protect and conserve nature, visit nature.org.
All right, halftime show here on Eudora Sports Live. Shop local and support local at Gene's Heartland Foods. Visit their website, eudora.heartlandfoodstores.com, to sign up for exclusive offers and rewards today. So, 33-23, the Panthers end up winning that quarter by 2 thanks to that last-second shot. It was a little bit, quite a bit of indecision. I actually feel like we've seen that exact scenario play out a couple times this season, specifically where Rychek grabs that last-second rebound before the end of the second half, or the end of the first half, and doesn't really know what she wants to do with it, whether it seems like she actually a lot of times is trying to just hold it and end the quarter, which I think is what we saw in the game against Ottawa. But that time there was a little bit of pressure, tried to pass out, and it just didn't work out, and it ended up sort of looking a bit like the end of the first quarter, which we got to see, where just a loose ball turns into a three that was, someone said, why not, as the clock was expiring. And the Panthers, instead of losing that quarter by 1, win it by 2. But the gap is still 10. The Cardinals sitting pretty so far, but not the perfect ending. What do you make of that first half, Aiden? It's sort of maybe looking past that last basket.
Yeah, looking past the last basket. It's not super uneven. The Cards are clearly a little bit more comfy, a little bit better on the shooting and scoring side, but I feel like this game really isn't that unbalanced. I think the Lady Panthers are doing a really impressive job of hanging around in this one, scoring points when they need to, and more specifically, answering the Cards when they score, right? They're not letting them run away with it by a lot. They're not letting them, for the most part at least, go on these long scoring runs where you see them just stretch out large gaps. The only time the Cards have really done that today was at the end of that first quarter, where they turned a 2-point game into a 12-point game almost instantly. But I think on the Cards side, they're playing really well coming out of the half. I would expect to see them try to cut down and minimize mistakes again. You know, the usual stuff that we've seen the last couple of weeks, despite the fact they've been winning. And I think on the Panthers side, it's going to be, you know, first of all, try to rest up and try to get those players a little bit of a break, because they are playing quite a few minutes out here today. But I do think scoring is still going to be the priority. You're going to want to focus on good defense when you can, and trying to kind of recreate what they did in that first half of overall keeping the Cards from getting lit on fire, right? Keeping them from getting these massive chunks of momentum where they're able to just go on a scoring run and really run away with it. But it will be a test of time in the second half, because, of course, we've talked about it quite a bit. We don't know how much endurance the Panthers are going to have down the stretch, so it is going to be important to try to score a lot early on, because assuming they will slow down a little bit in the fourth, they want to do all they can to not let that stretch in the fourth turn into a big one on the wrong way for them.
Yeah, and the Cardinals, they tend to be pretty consistent with how many points they put up each quarter, but the first they put up 23, second they only put up 10. But looking at a halftime score of 33, if they keep that up, they are on pace for, by a decent bit, their best performance on offense this season. They put up 61 against Lewisburg for their best game. That's the only time they've actually broken into the 60s.
Yep.
But they only put up 10 that second quarter. If they continue to do that, they would be well on their way to a 50-plus point game, which is tended to be enough for them to win this season. But yeah, they had a great. We talked about how the start would be big. They had a great first quarter, an okay second quarter that actually was pretty solid. The last second three sort of skews what it looks like, but it was a good quarter. And I think that they could easily continue this performance in the second half.
Yeah, and I think, First of all, the Panthers defense, briefly mentioned it. Their last 3 games, they have given up over 60 points, although their offense has been better. Those were all pretty decisive losses, so the trend seeming to continue where teams are able to put up a lot of points on them. And I also wanted to briefly mention when you talked about, good quarters versus bad quarters for the Cards, I noticed a trend last week that on Tuesday where they seem to, when they win quarters by a lot. And when they lose quarters, they only lose them by a couple of points. They don't let the bleeding get too bad, right? And that's a trend we're seeing yet again. They won that first quarter by 12 points, and they did lose the second quarter, but they only lost it by 2. Last week, they only won 2 of the 4 quarters by a combined score of 17-point advantage through those 2. So that's a trend we are seeing, is they're really comfy with playing well enough to keep the gap close, even when they may not be playing their best ball.
All right, we'll go to a break here on our Jeans Heartland Foods halftime show.
Number one, obviously, is safety. We definitely call 811 to find out if there are any buried lines, fiber optic, whether it be telephone or pipeline or anything. Don't take a chance. Don't think you know and say, well, I don't remember anything being put in there. Call 811 and make sure that that's identified, that there isn't something there before you make that crossing. Because in the end, we want everybody going home.
Prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know.
and Clark sheer athleticism.
It's about your right to be informed. Today, there are real threats to press freedom
Reaching residential areas.
and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you. Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
The MVPs of BBQ. That's Barbed Wire Barbecue in Eudora. Family owned and operated, Barbed Wire Barbecue delivers great food and small town hospitality at a valued price. High quality hickory smoked meats, house seasonings, and time-tested recipes put Barbed Wire Barbecue a cut above the rest. Kick off your weekend with their delicious brunch on Saturdays and Sundays and enjoy game day your way with Barbed Wire Game Day Packs. Visit them at 601 East 10th in Eudora or see their full lineup of flavors at barbedwirebarbecue.com. Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams, surgeries, routine vaccinations, and emergency care.
I just want to thank everybody in the community for trusting us with the care of their animals, and go Dogs!
Schedule an appointment by calling 785-542-3265 or visit eudoravet.com.
Eudora Sports Live is presented by Kansas Insurance, where they believe in taking time to issue personal care and attention to each individual client. To see how Kansas Insurance can help you protect what matters most, call 913-369-6600. And another sponsor here on the show, tried to make it so that you guys could actually scan that QR code this time, is the Eudora Schools Foundation Give Day for the year 2025. On March 5th, the Eudora Schools Foundation will host their 5th annual ESF Give Day, which is a 24-hour fundraiser to benefit every student, every teacher, and every school in USD 491. Their big goal is $70,000 to enrich student experience, reward teaching excellence, and make their Eudora schools the very best. Your gifts, both large and small, will help them achieve their mission and their goals. Help them kick off their campaign by donating today. You can visit www.eudoraschoolsfoundation.org for more information, or go to the link on your screen or scan that QR code with your phone's camera, and it should bring you to the right place. Thank you so much for supporting USD 491. So we're about to get going here. Take that down now as we get about to get going, Hayden, on the third quarter here. Can you the scoreboard just a little bit, just the legs.
Cool.
So a 10-point lead for the Cards to start here, and they're going to turn over this opening possession. The Panthers with 4 of their starting 5, but at this point, Bryn Sanders, who's put up 5 points, including a 3, has taken the spot of Ashlyn Katzer, one sophomore filling in for another. Here is Sanders. against Dieterding. Puts it
Whoa.
up and nearly gets it. She's actually had a decent performance against Dieterding so far on defense. Now all by herself, says why not, does Ellie Smale, but doesn't get it. Coming down with it is Ava Dye. Running quickly down court, one-handed pass for Keltner, who scores the first points of the second half. Also Keltner's first points there.
Kind of feels like one of those days where everybody gets a score for the Cards. That does happen when you have a season-high first half, but we saw that on Tuesday as well. It seemed like everyone on the Cards roster was getting a shot to score, and I mean everyone.
They had 10 different scorers against Ottawa. Here's Wicker trying to get out of the pressure from Kuntz, and Keltner attempted to put it out off of Kuntz, but didn't bounce off enough.
Almost would have been better to just put it out.
Brunkow, Dieterding, Dye in the corner. Couldn't get a third corner three this game, but it'll work out as a pass. Keltner's got both points, or both baskets so far in Q3, and they've both been assisted by Ava Dye.
So they went from no points to 4 of them within seconds pretty darn quick.
And now Coach Butler will take a timeout on the Paola side of things, with the Cardinals off to a hot start. It's a full timeout, so we'll send you to a 30-second break and then take you right back.
Just like the Cardinals are striving for success, Kaw Valley State Bank's mission is your success. At Kaw Valley State Bank, they provide the best, most efficient, courteous, and professional banking services possible. And at Kaw Valley, they recognize that the customer and their satisfaction is the most important ingredient to growing their community. With all the services you've come to expect from the hometown partner you deserve, Kaw Valley State Bank, online at kvsb.com, a proud supporter of Eudora Schools.
All right, so Hayden, they're off to a hot start. Keltner putting up 4 points already. The Cardinals 40% of the way to matching their second quarter scoring performance. What do you make of the quick start here?
I think they know what they need to get done. I think they understand the game plan the Panthers are trying to pull off of keeping this thing close into the fourth quarter, and they're saying, no, we think if we stretch it out in the third, we can win. So they're coming out with a lot of aggression, and my biggest what's impressed me the most so far is that they're executing on just about everything, right? You haven't seen really anything sloppy or any big mistakes. They've just seen the opportunities and capitalized almost flawlessly on them to this point.
Are we seeing any signs of fatigue yet from the Panthers? They've only been relying on a core of 6 players here so far, but they've also been playing pretty well.
Yeah, I don't think it's fatigue yet. I think it's more so the Cards just going on a really hot run for a minute there.
Loose ball. Rutledge comes up with it. A nice pass for Wicker. Very creative.
Still
what can she
well.
do with it? Couldn't get it, but snags that rebound, and she'll go to the free throw line.
Wow.
Well deserved.
That was really, really well played. And that, again, got to push that even more. They don't look fatigued. This doesn't look like a deficit that's growing because they can't hang around. It looks like more so of a deficit growing because they've made a couple of mistakes at times and the Cards just haven't. First opportunity to pull things in a little closer is going to go off.
Yeah, Wicker, despite having 8 points, leading her team in scoring, 0 for 3 at the line. Did I jinx it? I sure did.
We're calling this for Paola, too. You didn't jinx it. It's a good thing.
That's fair. Good point.
Our mistakes are not mistakes. They're intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we should know better by now. We've done that way too much.
I still don't believe in it, but it does play out quite a bit where maybe there's something
does.
to it. Brunkow into the paint, scores.
Yeah, I'll fully admit I came into this job in this field like, that's not a real thing. I can kind of say whatever I want. And then I quite literally jinxed an extra point on the fly for Eudora
Coach Parker
football.
was sure that he saw a travel there. In the end, it'll still work out as a Cardinals possession. Yeah, no, I had the same thing with baseball where I was like, there's no way. You talk about hit streaks or whatever.
That's a superstitious sport, too.
Very. Oh,
it's
my
a
word.
very superstitious sport.
But it played out quite a bit, and I was like, man, I got to do a study because there's no way that it has any impact, obviously.
Right.
But there's got to be something to, like, something that you feel is worth mentioning is more likely to not continue. Something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
Basketball.
Numbers and things
Dye
that are smarter than us.
draws a foul. She'll go to the line.
Yeah, I don't remember which game it was last year, but there was a point where Eudora, I believe, was going to match a point total against a team from the previous year, and I said, if they make this extra point, and then the extra point was not even close. So I'm like, man, maybe there is something to this.
The arena fell absolutely silent. Dye didn't get the first to go. Cardinals as a team 0 for 3 at the line so far, but a chance for Dye to change that. does get that one to go. She's up to 9 points in this one.
I will say, Abadai is one of those players where, you can tell by the way she carries herself on the court that it's no surprise that she's as good as she is. Every time she misses a free throw or misses a layup or something goes wrong, you can see she gets very visibly disappointed and doesn't make the mistake again very often. A testament to the hard worker she is and the work ethic she's got to be the best competitor she can be.
So there is some new players out on the court for the Panthers. Ashlyn Katzer has returned from the starting 5, but then also Lola Canales. There she is, introducing herself to you, number 34. Taken from the JV squad here into this game, becomes the 7th player to appear for them.
Called for a travel there, gives Cards ball.
So we said that we haven't seen much of that fatigue set in. I would agree. They seem to be playing pretty well, but maybe Coach Butler either wanting to keep it that way or seeing it a little differently. Dieterding couldn't get that one to go. Could Kuntz keep it in? She could not. So
it's just not a
Paola ball.
It's just not a risk worth taking, leaving Bryn Dieterding that alone for 3. Worked out that time, but she'll make you pay for it eventually, without a doubt.
Katzer hands it off for Wicker. Or Smale thought of the 3 in the face of Dye, couldn't get it. Then what a rebound, and then a rebound again.
Wow.
Looking for a foul, couldn't get it, but they still have the ball. Wicker this time goes straight up, and Kuntz comes down with it, and we'll see a jump ball, which will go the way of Paola.
That felt like it had to happen at some point.
Pitzer will come in, take the place of Canales. So the Panthers actually back to their starting 5 from this game.
When you got to think, when you've been playing so many minutes, as much as a minute or 2 on the bench could make all the difference for your endurance, right?
Definitely just buy yourself a breather.
Right.
Some time in the corner, off the front of the rim there from Katzer. Normally I'd see a 3 come up at a low angle and not give it any chance, but
we've already seen
I saw earlier from Sanders.
Yep. Yeah, normally that wouldn't get that anticipation pause that you'd usually give a 3, but they've proven us wrong once today. Why not again?
Keltner across Brunkow, now Dieterding. Drives. Passes for Brunkow for 3. High off the glass, no good.
There's a good arc on it.
Now Rutledge for Smale. And too high there, looking for Wicker in the paint. So the Cardinals have hit the number 40. They've put up 7 this quarter, winning the quarter 7-1.
Definitely slowed down a bit, though. Didn't look like there was any chance of that in the first quarter. And then slowed down a little in the second, a little bit more thus far in the third.
And a foul away from the ball, looks like, called against the Cardinals.
Dieterding going to sink that 3 for good measure anyways. Does not count.
Sanders will come back in for Katzer. And Owens and Warren will come in for Kuntz and Keltner. And also Rychek went in for Brunkow. So 3 changes there. Pitzer. Under pressure from Owens. Wow, does really nice to find Smale, who couldn't get it off the glass. Rychek came down with it. Dye with some support on the left side. Finds Dieterding all by herself. Doesn't get it. Does Warren get the rebound? No, but Rychek comes away with it. It has it bounce out of her hands. And the Panthers emerge with the ball. Some high pressure from the Panthers.
So it doesn't mean the Cards are done trying, though.
Pitzer. Gets a pick from Rutledge. And then is fouled there by Warren. And now Lola Canales will return, taking the spot of Ellie Smale. Panthers do have 3 other players on their bench, at least dressed enough to play. Pitzer is going to get to go to the line here for a foul against Warren, which is actually her 4th here. So she'll be in foul trouble.
It's another low-arcing shot going in.
So Warren will take a spot on the bench for Brunkow.
Reed, I keep thinking about it a little bit more since you mentioned it. Going this deep into the game now, I think it is almost a benefit to a lot of these Panthers players with how much they've played this year. Their endurance is clearly really strong. Going to go 0 for 2 shooting there. Sorry, 1 for 2.
Nice handles from Dye, and then a very timely pass to Dieterding, and now space for Owens, and couldn't get it. Pitzer comes down with it. Against her opposing 12 of Brunkow, now finds Rutledge. Dieterding trying to avoid the foul, and then forced an errant pass, which Dye intercepted, but then traveled in an attempt to stay in bounds along this near sideline.
Looked like she knew she stepped out too. Kind of hoping they wouldn't say anything, but once they called it, laughed and said, all right.
Rutledge into Pitzer.
Brunkow, not a fun player to play defense. Have to play against defensively at all.
Wicker couldn't get the 3. Dye caught it by herself. 2 minutes to go in Q3. Finds Owens. Back to Dye. QB pass across for Dieterding. Now into Rychek in the paint. Wow, unlucky bounce, but Brunkow gets a lucky roll. Team's leading scorer with 13.
And like butter, transitions smoothly into defense.
Sanders. In the corner for Wicker. Tends to fare better in the paint, was trying to drive there, had it taken away by Dye, and then a jump ball is called, which goes to the Cardinals. Keltner will come in for Ava Dye. And now waiting to come in, Ellie Smale will take the spot of Canales.
Number 4, Ellie Smale, check back in for the Panthers.
The Cards still, mentioned it earlier, leading the quarter. Now 9-1. Following that trend of when they win quarters, they tend to win them big.
Dieterding from way downtown doesn't get it.
That was one of the longer threes I've seen Dieterding try all year. She certainly got a knack for making those longer ones, but definitely slightly tougher shots, even compared to a regular three-pointer, which is not easy by any stretch.
Smale under some really tough pressure from Keltner, bought herself some space, but on the 180 pass, just a little bit of lack of communication results in a turnover. Under a minute to go before we head to the 4th quarter. Dieterding into the paint, tried to roll it for Rychek, and it'll be a Panthers ball. We've put up 9 so far this quarter to the Panthers 2 now. Wicker sets her feet, now finds Rutledge. And a pass that finds Keltner, who then draws a foul. So it'll be a Cardinals inbound, and the shot clock is now off. Kuntz will prepare to come in, so too will Ashlyn Katzer. Pitzer goes out, and so does Dieterding. Here's Brunkow. Keltner hesitated on a pass for Rychek. Cardinals looking to control the paint by having Kuntz and Rychek both on the court at the same time.
Yep.
Kuntz at the edge of the free throw line, drains it for her first points.
Why not? We say controlling the paint. They start scoring points.
She's already got 1 3, but she'll pass this one off. They need to get it up quick into the paint for Smale, who scores. Panthers love to have the last say. It's a great strategy to make a quarter look a little bit better, but the Cardinals do come out on top of that one with scoring it 11-4 in their favor. Cardinals with a nice lead headed to the 4th quarter. We'll be right back.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
The MVPs of BBQ. That's Barbed Wire Barbecue in Eudora. Family owned and operated, Barbed Wire Barbecue delivers great food and small town hospitality at a valued price. High quality hickory smoked meats, house seasonings, and time tested recipes put Barbed Wire Barbecue a cut above the rest. Kick off your weekend with our delicious brunch on Saturdays and Sundays and enjoy game day your way with Barbed Wire Game Day Packs. Visit them at 601 East 10th in Eudora or see their full lineup of flavors at barbedwirebarbecue.com.
All right, fourth quarter time here for the Cards. Sitting pretty here in a game that they were pretty heavily favored to win. And as time has gone on, these Panthers, they've represented themselves well. But the Cardinals, I mean, they are just the better team. It doesn't have to necessarily be a matter of fatigue. I think that this Panthers team has proven that they've got the stamina. And at this point of the season, to a certain extent, you'd expect that.
Right.
And they've played well, but the Cardinals are just that better team. They've only lost one game all year, and that is played out here. But I think that the Panthers have represented themselves better than some teams that we've had higher expectations for in terms of the Cardinals' opponents.
Yeah.
And definitely they have some individuals that make this a fun team to watch, which is something that we've always been able to, as they're fighting over the ball there. And the paint die comes away a little bit saying like, okay then.
You say something easy to say about Paola.
About Paola has always been. They're fun to watch. It was the same with their football team.
Oh, that was so much fun last year.
And they're always enjoyable, and I think that that's got to be so big because this is high school sports. This is not something where these people are necessarily hoping to be professional or anything like that. And so if you can enjoy it, I think that's kind of the whole point. And it's always fun watching a Paola game, and they've had a decent day here, even though the Cardinals are going to go on to win this one. They've represented themselves really well in a tough circumstance with such a small roster.
Well, and it's something else to say. Obviously the players can enjoy the games very easily, even if they don't necessarily look, quote, fun to watch. There's something else to it for the fans too, right? Making the games enjoyable to watch for your home crowd, for your friends, for your family. And the Paola Panthers do that extremely well. I mean, their football games and their basketball games. I called one earlier in the year, I believe it was the season opener, over on Paola Sports Live, and it's just such a fun team to watch, and you can tell the crowd enjoys it too. Something big to that, as you said.
What a pass in for Wicker, who scores. Give the credit to Pitzer as well. That puts Wicker into double digits.
Driving the point home more. I don't even have to say it. It's a fun team to watch, fun team to play against. They've showed up putting their best foot forward today, Reed, without a doubt.
Dieterding hesitates, steps to her left, shoots the three, doesn't get it. Pitzer comes down with it.
Maybe a little bit of a tough day on threes for Dieterding. Certainly sunk a couple as usual, but a couple of misses she clearly wasn't happy about.
The spin did not fool Brunkow. Wicker, the senior, off for Rutledge, her fellow senior. Comes back to her off of the knees, basically, there of Pitzer, and then Coach Butler will call a timeout. So a decent start here for the Panthers this quarter. Put up just the one basket so far, is that right?
Yep, correct.
So what do you make of this Cardinals performance so far in this one?
I think it's been similar to what they've done all year long in the sense that they've done what they needed to do in the first half to allow themselves a little bit of freedom in the second half. Definitely not a perfect performance. Things they're going to want to clean up without a doubt. As you said, a couple of little communication errors, certainly things that they're not going to be too thrilled that happened. They're going to want to clean that up. But overall, this has been the theme of the year, right, is they play really well in the first half, give themselves a comfy advantage, and then kind of hit that cruise control button late and just do enough to win. And at that point,
Dieterding high-pointed that one for a second.
As we said, not playing perfect. And that's made tougher by the fact you're playing a team that plays hard, right? A team that plays good defense, plays aggressive.
Yeah, I think as
forced a few errors.
As they run out of time there on the shot clock, I think that this Cardinals team. They really are a first quarter team, but that's just, they still go on to see out those wins. But they've had multiple times where they won the first quarter huge and then lost the next 3 quarters, but won the game.
Right.
And even though that's maybe a bit of a concerning recipe, if it comes out victorious, no one's going to fault you for finding a way to win the game. And they won this first quarter massively by 12, putting up 23 points. As a nice finish there for Dieterding. The Cardinals since then put up 10 and then 11 in the 2 following quarters. But when you give yourself such a nice early lead like that, you can just sort of match your opponent, play well enough to keep, stay step for step, and you can find yourself on top when all is said and done.
Well, we mentioned that at halftime, right, where their kind of trend this year is when they win quarters, they win them by a lot and lose them a little thinner.
Finish there for Pitzer.
When they lose them close, and it's that exact game strategy, right? They know we don't have to necessarily do a lot if we can win big early. And in the one game this year they did not win, it was that exact same thing. They didn't win big in the first quarter and saw them struggle the rest of the way.
And the jump ball will favor the Cards.
Number 20, Brent Sanders returns for the Panthers.
Sanders comes in for Katzer. Surprised we haven't seen deeper involvement from the Cardinals. They've actually relied on a pretty smaller core of players as well, even than we've seen in some earlier games this season. Something maybe out of respect from Coach Parker, saying he knows what this team is capable of, and also maybe sort of trying to not treat them unfairly with the 7 players only on the roster.
Right.
Because again, this isn't the pros. This isn't the same thing where
we're not going to run it up on
completely ruthless to your opponent.
Yep.
So it could be something of that as well.
You're playing 5 to 6 players. We'll play 5 to 6 players. And that's also good conditioning for his top players, right? For your starting 5, certainly a positive thing for them to play a lot of games, play a lot of minutes down the stretch.
Warren and Rychek go in for Kuntz and Keltner. Warren is on 4 fouls, so if she is to commit another, that'll be the end of her day. Dieterding all by herself on the left side. Couldn't get it. Dye rebounds and scores. Puts her into double digits with 11.
2 or 3 cards in double digits tonight? I know Brunkow is. Sounds like Dye is.
Just those 2 at the moment. Dye going to tie for the team lead now, matching her jersey number. She's got 13.
Why not add more?
And all of a sudden, Cards got that magic number. They've hit the 50 mark. Could maybe set their eyes on their best offensive performance this year. Here's Smale. Ooh, looked good, but just a little too far left.
Credit to the Panthers defense at halftime. Cards are on pace for 66 points. Now we're under 3.5 to go, and they're only looking to push maybe towards 60.
Dieterding going to get sent to the line.
And you never know. This is the kind of roster that could easily put up those 15 points very quickly. Credit to the Panthers defense, tightened up quite a bit.
Dieterding pretty distraught with not getting that first. Might also be a little exhausted. She did take a pretty hard hit on the foul that sent her here to the line.
May also be a little carryover frustration from the threes today. Just not hitting some of the shots she wants to. Will hit the second one. Definitely a little bit of tension off Dieterding right there.
Now there are 3 players in double digits. Dieterding's got 10. Dye and Brunkow each with 13. And a timeout going to be taken here. I think maybe a part of, the not having hit 60 much this season is they haven't really had to. We've seen the same with the boys a couple times where towards the end of the game, it happened in the championship game where we're thinking, oh man, they could hit that 70 mark against Atchison, but they didn't need to. And so they just held onto the ball and saw the game out. And so the Cardinals will certainly look to slow things down here, but with more than 3 minutes left, there will be some more scoring chances as time goes on, and maybe we will see them approach that 60 mark, but they've got the luxury of not needing to. They don't need to force themselves to score. When they get the ball, they should eat as much of the 35 seconds as they can before, if they could, bouncing it off the rim and then rebounding and then
Right.
killing another 35 seconds.
Right.
They don't even need to worry about adding any more points up. They've done well in this game, so they can
It's the recipe
sort
of a
of
winning
sit
team.
back here.
It's the recipe of a winning basketball team. It's like that's exactly what you want to be able to do in a perfect world, right? Is every single game you play a good first quarter, good second quarter, and then you just match, right? You do just enough, and you do afford yourself the luxury of not really needing to play that hard into the fourth.
Panthers have their 2 seniors, Rutledge and Wicker, Smale, one of their juniors, and then Canales and Sanders. Canales from the JV team out for Sanders, who couldn't get her second 3 of this game. Canales is a freshman, Sanders a sophomore. Sophomore Dieterding tried to get it across for Warren.
Wow.
Kept in really nicely by Smale, but only for the Cardinals to hold possession, and then Keltner will go to the line.
Such a valiant effort by the Panthers to end up going the other direction, but A for effort on keeping that one in.
So it's the 4th foul against Rutledge. Last thing the Panthers need is to have their squad get a little bit smaller.
Right. Gap is 20 now.
Pitzer comes in for Canales. Keltner 0 for 4 at the line. Pitzer here. Under all kinds of pressure from Keltner and Brunkow, the 2 most relentless defenders on the Cardinals team. And are we going to see a foul here? We will. Foul against Ellie Smale. So that puts the Cardinals into the bonus. But because it was a defensive foul, they don't go to the line immediately. Or rather, an offensive foul, they don't go to the line immediately.
Yep.
Here's Warren in the corner. Lob pass for Rychek, who has it swiped away by Rutledge.
All kinds of aggression out of the Panthers defense here. So we're not going to lay down. No quitting us. Love to see it from this roster. This coaching staff clearly fighting hard right to the end of games, which shows a lot of heart and character.
Rutledge. And called for a carry. Owens will come in for Keltner. Cards don't need to rush here, but Dieterding will, and she'll find Pater. Saw an opportunity to sneak past the whole defense and didn't pass it up. Pitzer being chased down from behind by Brunkow. Passes out for Snail in the corner all by herself. Just a little bit off. Wicker rebounds, nearly rolled it in off the glass. Wicker has a lot of finesse and technique down there in the paint.
Yeah.
Here's Dieterding, though, in the opposite-sided paint, and now all of a sudden she's the team's leading scorer with 14.
I want to act surprised. Certainly if there's any player on this roster, though, capable of just stacking points seemingly out of nowhere that quickly, it would be Bryn Dieterding.
Sanders at the line. Rychek gets a hand to it, but only as far as Rutledge,
whoa,
who nearly got a fadeaway jumper there in very unorthodox fashion. And now Coach Parker will call a 30-second timeout.
Ladies and gentlemen, our wrestlers, our female wrestlers are down at Paola tonight in regional wrestling. A little update. Abby Fager and Maddie Arnold have qualified for state. We also have 4 young ladies that are still in the running, and they're on the backside. In the interviews, Casey Doherty, Chloe Brake, and Ryan Brenauer are still in the running. They'll wrestle at 10 a.m. tomorrow. If they
So the
win, they are
AD, Kara
in.
Kimberlin, just announced that in Paola, meanwhile as this goes on, that a couple wrestlers for the Cards have already qualified for state. And there will be 4 more to compete tomorrow. The 2 qualifying got a big cheer here from the gym.
Number 14, Lauren Brooks. Number 30, Brady Miller. Number 34, Elson Allison.
Some wholesale changes for the Cards, only leaving Owens and Dye out there, as Brady Miller, Lori Brooks, and Allison will come in for the time being, maybe for the last minute 14. Here's Dye. Lost the handle, but it finds Owens. And then Rutledge comes away with it, finds Pitzer, and now running down court is Smale with Allison in her face. Allison tries to get a charge. And it's, let's see, what's the call here? Allison is called hit with a blocking call. It wasn't a bad effort there to get the charge call, but she will not get it, so Smale will get the shot. Allison was set up in the paint as if she was defending an inbound. Maybe just some intimidation there for Ellie Smale at the free throw line.
Why not? First one goes.
She sinks it. Was that an and one?
As soon as I said it, I realized it might have been. I suppose they did add an and one onto that blocking call, it sounds like.
I guess it was. So Smale converts on a three-point play. Meanwhile, coming into the game, Avery Hemphill takes the spot of Ava Dye. Panthers maintaining the high energy, high effort here, which is a huge credit to them with their small squad.
Extremely.
Brooks grabs the rebound. Barely a difference between shot clock and game clock.
There is a little bit more on the game clock, however, so a shot will need to go up. Shot may not even have to go. The difference is 0.1 seconds.
Went out off of Owens, or no, rather off of the Panthers, so still the Cardinals ball. Allison to inbound. Finds Hemphill. Out for Owens and loose, taken away by Rutledge. So now shot clock is off. Here's Smale against Allison. Out for Rutledge, goes for the three off the right side of the glass. Sanders rebounds, puts it up, doesn't get it, still loose. Owens gets it. And will she just dribble out the rest of this game? She will. So 55-34 is the final score here from the Cardinal Arena as the Cardinals pick up their 14th win of the season. The Panthers, a valiant effort, but they dropped their fourth straight, fall to 1-14. When we're back, it's the post-game show. We'll wrap this one up, and then it'll be pregame for our next game on this doubleheader as it's the boys Cardinals versus Panthers. So keep it here. Don't go anywhere for the next game here on this simulcast on Eudora Sports Live.
Just like the Cardinals are striving for success, Kaw Valley State Bank's mission is your success. At Kaw Valley State Bank, they provide the best, most efficient, courteous, and professional banking services possible. And at Kaw Valley, they recognize that the customer and their satisfaction is the most important ingredient to growing their community. With all the services you've come to expect from the hometown partner you deserve, Kaw Valley State Bank, online at kvsb.com, a proud supporter of Eudora Schools.
High-quality foods, friendly service, great prices, and a connection to the community that is unsurpassed. That's Jean's Heartland Foods in Eudora. Family-owned, Jean's Heartland Foods offers a convenient one-stop shop, delivering the everyday essentials you need to specialty items from around the world. Jean's friendly staff is here to help you find exactly what you're looking for. You have options when it comes to feeding your family. Choose to support local. Choose Jean's Heartland Foods, 1402 Church Street in Eudora, or online at heartlandfoodstores.com. The MVPs of BBQ. That's Barbed Wire Barbecue in Eudora. Family owned and operated, Barbed Wire Barbecue delivers great food and small town hospitality at a valued price. High quality hickory smoked meats, house seasonings, and time tested recipes put Barbed Wire Barbecue a cut above the rest. Kick off your weekend with their delicious brunch on Saturdays and Sundays and enjoy game day your way with Barbed Wire Game Day Packs. Visit them at 601 East 10th in Eudora or see their full lineup of flavors at barbedwirebarbecue.com.
Eudora Parks and Recreation is committed to creating community through parks, people, and programs. Their goal is to provide recreational opportunities for the community of Eudora that will enhance and promote a healthy lifestyle for all ages. The Eudora Parks and Recreation Department gives Eudora residents and others from surrounding communities the opportunity for family-oriented activities. Visit their website at eudoraparksandrec.org to view their youth and adult programs, leagues, memberships, facilities, activity guides, and more, and follow them on all social media at Eudora Parks and Rec.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams, surgeries, routine vaccinations, and emergency care.
I just want to thank everybody in the community for trusting us with the care of their animals, and go Cards!
Schedule an appointment by calling 785-542-3265 or visit eudoravet.com.
All right, post-game show brought to us by Eudora Animal Hospital, which has been serving pets in Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975, and are proud supporters of Eudora Cardinals athletics. So 55-34 is our final score as the Lady Cards get another win. They won their 6th straight now since their loss in the Tongi Invitational, up to 14-1. The Lady Panthers fall to 1-14 in what's been a rough year in terms of getting wins, but we talked about that. We enjoyed the way that they played. They seem like a very tight-knit team. How could you not be when you've only got 7 players on your varsity squad? But they've got a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and the stamina to keep up with anybody. They played a great, nice, complete game. So in honor of the simulcast, Hayden, give your thoughts on both teams here as they go forward this
absolutely.
season.
I think giving our thoughts on Paola first. They came in here, as a clear underdog, right? Playing a team with not only a better record than them, but they've beat some more impressive teams. And, it didn't necessarily look like a great matchup on paper. But the Panthers came in here and especially through the first 2 quarters played really, really well. Had this thing within double digits, but I would almost say it looked closer than a double digits game if you were watching it and you weren't guessing the score. You would think these teams were quite close the way they were playing. Panthers were not willing to give an inch. We're giving the Cards just about everything they can handle, especially in that first and second quarter. But as we've seen them do all year long, Cards win the first quarter big and then kind of cruise on through the rest of the game. Only won the first quarter and the third quarter. But a really, really impressive showing from the Panthers. They were able to win that second quarter by 2. Just hung around, right? They were pesky in a way. They kept playing good defense right to the end. You saw the effort keep going. It never went away. It never looked like they sunk themselves down and kind of gave in to the way this match was going, which is a valiant thing to acknowledge, right? They're playing with a lot of heart and a lot of passion, clearly, which is not only a testament to this coaching staff, but a testament to this roster and these fans clearly keeping this team energized in what has been a tough season, but a lot of potential and upside in the coming years for that roster for sure. And then on the Card side, played the way they've played most of the year, right? It's starting to look very, very familiar every game we watch from them. Score big in the first quarter, run through the rest, kind of get yourself to the point where you have the privilege to just go step for step. Your opponent scores, you score. They keep themselves with just enough of an advantage that they never really feel a lot of pressure late in games. Of course, that's only happened one time this year where they lost early on big in those first 2 quarters, and that was their only loss of the year. And they've shown they can win close too, but this is certainly where they're comfortable at and doing a really good job with it as per usual.
So we talked about that they've got the inverse records that have stayed true. 14-1 for Lady Cards, 1-14 now for Paola. Let's run through some score tallies here, and I got every single point here. We did not miss a single one. So looking on the Paola side of things, Yasmin Rutledge put up 6 points. Ellie Smale got 6. Brylan Wicker led the team with 11. Amanda Pitzer with 6. Bryn Sanders with 5 off the bench. For the Cardinals, Avery Warren got 3. Keltner with 4. Bryn Dieterding led the team with 14. Izzy Brunkow and Ava Dye with 13 each. Avery Hemphill Miranda Kuntz with 2. Ali Rychek with 4. And Carly Owens with 2. So looking at that list, we have to, from that, pick a Barbed Wire Barbecue Who's Smoking Player of the Game. I think it's easy, looking at the Paola side, to pick out Wicker as you guys' player of the game, no question. Because
I agree.
The big struggle, looking at the team, is the scoring. They had the solid defense, and they even positioned themselves pretty well, but they were not able to get off a lot of shots, and there were a lot of players that looked pretty uncomfortable shooting. Like we talked about the unorthodox threes and different things like that. While those are nice when they hit, you'd like to have something that a more reliable shot. Wicker couldn't miss in the paint. It was unbelievable. Maybe the best layup finishing I've seen from any player all season long. Just able to manipulate the roll of the ball in the glass however she needed to get those points in the paint. So easy to pick Wicker as the Paola Panthers player of the game, no question. On the Cardinals side, it's a little tougher to pick because they've got 3 double-digit scorers. I think it has to be one of them. There were some nice performances outside of that, Keltner and Rychek being the 2 that would stand out among the more defensive-minded or rebound-minded players.
Can't look away from those double-digit scores, though.
But you look at Dieterding, who ended up leading with 14, Brunkow with 13, and Ava Dye with 13. Does anyone stand out from those 3 if I nominate those 3 to you to be that player of the game?
I mean, I think all of them stand out. I kind of bummed out you gave me this choice because
I'm not saying, I just want to pick. Does anyone stand out? You don't have to pick here.
Yeah, I think early on, really, it was a pretty even split, I think, between Ava Dye and Izzy Brunkow, almost in different ways, right? They were scoring their points entirely differently. Early on, it looked like a lot of Izzy Brunkow. Through the second and third quarter, you had a lot more Ava Dye, and Bryn Dieterding was doing what she always does and just scoring those consistent points. And then the fourth quarter is when she really caught fire. A couple of quick, I believe it was 2 quick layups back-to-back within about a 20-second span to bump her from that 10 mark over into 14. But I think early on, Ava Dye had a huge impact. She was scoring a lot of points on the offensive side. But she had a couple of takeaways too. How good was Izzy Brunkow on the defensive side as well? Just putting that pressure on and almost feeling like a leader of this team today and in the last couple of weeks, I think.
So I'm hearing you say it might be Brunkow or Dye. Is that what you're saying?
I'm leaning Brunkow or Dye because I think although Bryn Dieterding did end up leading the team, it felt watching it like a lot of her points impact came a little later when you could say they were kind of in cruise control already.
Yeah, definitely something you called out a little bit in game. Her threes weren't really on today.
Yeah.
Which, what a credit to her. She still ends up leading the team in scoring.
Right.
But yeah, she wasn't controlling the game how she tends to.
Yeah.
So looking at Brunkow and Dye, it's a tough pick. I don't know. The moment if you give it to Dye or like a play of the game is that 3, which unfortunately we didn't catch from technical difficulties. But at the end of the first,
unreal.
She broke away, could not get the layup to go. It seemed like, oh man, that's a tough miss there. But then
not going to get points.
Huge effort play from Owens to knock the loose ball to Dye in the corner and get that 3, and what composure to do so, something we know she has in bunches.
Yeah.
She is the most calm player out there, it would seem, at all times.
One of the most calm players I've ever seen.
I don't know. I almost want to take the cop out and go co-player, but I force you to choose all the time, so I should make a pick here.
I appreciate that.
I'll go with Brunkow.
I was going to go that way too.
I'll give it to Izzy Brunkow.
That's the way I was going to go as well.
But Dye with an extremely close second for that player of the game. But yeah, we will give Izzy Brunkow the Barbed Wire Barbecue Who's Smoking player of the game. With 7 minutes left here on the break in between these two games.
Postgame and
pregame. We will
pregame.
wrap up this postgame show when we're back. It's the pregame show for the boys game.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the Drug Facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the Drug Facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/Drug Facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
I used to drive an ambulance as an EMT, and I've always tried to be a safe driver. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. In my car, if I see a truck or bus taking a turn, I know to take my time. When big vehicles turn right, they may swing wide to make the turn. If you try to sneak in, well, it's a lesson you'd rather not learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait. It's our roads, it's our safety.
The MVPs of BBQ. That's Barbed Wire Barbecue in Eudora. Family owned and operated, Barbed Wire Barbecue delivers great food and small town hospitality at a valued price. High quality hickory smoked meats, house seasonings, and time tested recipes put Barbed Wire Barbecue a cut above the rest. Kick off your weekend with their delicious brunch on Saturdays and Sundays and enjoy game day your way with Barbed Wire Game Day Packs. Visit them at 601 East 10th in Eudora or see their full lineup of flavors at barbedwirebarbecue.com.
All right. Welcome once again to the pregame show brought to us by Kaw Valley State Bank. They're not just your bank, they're your neighbors. Kaw Valley State Bank is proud to serve the Eudora community and proud to support Cardinal Athletics. For more information, visit their website, kawvalleystatebank.com. So some interesting implications here, just keeping an eye on the Cardinals. And one thing that we do know that we can relay, sad news, is that Christian Jarrett will not be returning to the team for the rest of this season, for the rest of his senior year. Recovering from the collarbone injury and already committed for football at the next level, just going to be taking time to focus on that. So there won't be any CJ for the rest of the season, but that's actually not that much of a difference for this team, unfortunately. You'd love it to be an impact loss, I suppose, weirdly as that sounds, but he's been out for a while. The team has been performing without him. Caden Dunback has been the call-up from the JV team. But the interesting news is we've seen that both Ryan Osborne and Cy Thomas, the two highest performers at the Tongi Invitational and two regular highest scorers for the team, are not fully dressed. They're not wearing basketball shorts tonight, or basketball shoes. So I would assume we won't be seeing either one of them playing. It's interesting because they're here, they're around the team. We don't know the full implications. We won't pretend to or dig into that too much. It's not really any of our business necessarily, but it's worth it for us to relate to you, as it is our business, that they won't be playing here tonight, it would seem.
And that is significant. It's worth noting.
Yeah, that's going to be some two big absences. We saw them have to play without Osborne in the game against Ottawa, and it was a big miss. They have enough depth on this team. We saw some fun performances from especially Julian Otis was one that sort of caught us off guard by having a very nice three ball. But it'll be tough. They'll have to rely on some players. We'll see. We will likely see more minutes given to Schneider. That was something that we saw against Ottawa.
Yep, he got a lot more play time in that game than we've seen him get for most of the year, and that's obviously because of the absences of Ryan Osborne in that game.
And so they come up against a 4-9 Paola team. So again, a matchup where they are pretty well favored, but they're not going to. They'll have to do it with a different identity here, relying on some different players. A lot of the same players, but maybe relying on them more, asking a little bit more of the players that have been consistent for them all season long.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, we saw Cage Crapel have a nice impact last game. We'll see Otis, which that is a newer impact, and you can see Keelan Duncan, Brody Wanger are out there warming up with the team. Dunback as well. There seems to be a greater role for Jackson Smith to come as well through here, which I'm sure in his senior year he is excited for that, despite whatever the circumstances may be.
A lot of Connor Watson minutes as well in the last couple of games.
So we will see what that all looks like as it plays out here against a team where, again, they are favored. The Cardinals have seen themselves fall to 500. We talked about it enough in the audio game that 3 of their last 4 opponents have been absolutely ridiculous, with playing Ottawa twice, who are 15-0 now, as well as Baldwin, who's just a ridiculously good team. So you can't really fault them too much, but they will like to get back above that 500 line, where I'm sure at this point they feel they belong, and they have a decent chance to do that against a 4-9 Panthers team. We'll get to listen in to the PA here once that gets going, and we'll get starting lineups before we get to tip-off, which will be brought to us by Main Street Scoops and Sweets. Main Street Scoops and Sweets offers premium Wisconsin-made ice cream from an in-house bakery with a variety of delicious baked goods. It's always ice cream time at Main Street Scoops and Sweets, and it is very nearly basketball time here in the Cardinal Arena. A matchup between Paola and Eudora. Still waiting to get things going here in the arena. There were some PA issues before the girls' game. before we get to the national anthem. The PA just yelled out to the gym, but it sounds like they've got everything working in here.
I got it.
Starting lineup, first visitors, number 2, 6'1", Hayden Cody. And for the Cardinals, 5'9" senior, number 0, Makaya Jerome. For the Panthers, number 3, Jace Hurley. And for the Cardinals, he's 6'2", senior, number 5, Harold Stevens. For the Panthers, number 4, Micah Sanders. And for the Cardinals, 5'9" senior, number 13, Connor Watson. For the Panthers, number 21, Hoyt Opine. And for Eudora, 6'2", senior, number 23, Jackson Smith. For the Panthers, number 32, Lane Hoffine. And for the Cardinals, 6'1" freshman, number 24, Cass Snyder.
So it's 4 seniors in the starting lineup for Eudora. That's Micaiah Jerome, Errol Seaman, Connor Watson, Jackson Smith, and then the lone freshman, Cash Snyder, makes that starting 5. On the other side for Paola, they've got Caden Kogi, Jace Curley, Micah Sanders, Hoyt Hoffine, and Lane Hoffine, with all 5 of those players standing above 6 feet tall. Sanders at 6'3", and then the 2 Hoffines at 6'5" each. So a very tall team for the Panthers, to say the least. The Cardinals will have to win that height battle or the rebound battle a lot in this game. You'll be looking at players like Errol Seaman and Cage Crable to try and win the battles in the paint, which will be really big here. But I suppose that's assuming that the ball doesn't go in. If they just make the shots, rebounds won't matter, right?
True.
But this is a very tall Paola team. And we are underway here.
You can see the height come in right away, winning that initial tip.
And a loose pass there will give the Cardinals an early chance here. So this Panthers team, they've dropped 5 straight after they got a tournament win over Sabitha, including a double overtime loss to Spring Hill. 3 times their opponent has scored more than 70. Schneider couldn't get this early one. Smith tried to push it back out for a teammate, but the Panthers come away with the loose ball. Still yet to find someone to score here in this one. Going for the 3. Doesn't get it, and rebounded by, he's got to be the shortest guy out there, Micaiah Jerome.
One of.
Smith drives, powerful, he scores. The senior, he'll be going to Friends University for baseball. Drives into the paint there and scores the first points of this one. But yeah, it's been a rough year for the Panthers. They also have a win that came in double overtime over Tonganoxie, so they have had to go the distance here, and that shot from Curley couldn't make it.
Actually, that's the distance, and then another 25%, and then another 25%. And they've had to do that twice this year, I believe, right? They have a double overtime win and a double overtime loss.
That's right.
It's a lot of minutes for these guys. Means I expect them to be comfy down the stretch.
Over the last 2 years, there was a point in time between 2 seasons ago and last season that they went a full year, the program did, without winning a game. It was a tough period for the boys team. And it's despite having a lot of star players. You'll recognize a lot of these names from their football team, which had a lot of star power, but had the same problem. They couldn't win a lot of their games despite playing a fun style, having a very effective offense for a long time. They would come up short at the end. And it's just been a rough period for actually winning. But we've talked about that. That doesn't have to be the biggest deal here.
It's high school sports.
But it feels nice when you can win the games, of course.
Absolutely.
But they have put to bed that losing streak. They went on to win a couple last year and got 4 wins already this season. Schneider with a nice 2 for 2 at the line.
The baby of the team tonight.
Yeah, you like to see the Cardinals lean on the senior experience.
Right.
If you have to rely on people to come in and play a little bit more minutes, of course, it's going to be the ones with the most time under their belt.
Makes sense.
Watson.
Thought about it.
Trying to for off the glass. It wasn't a bad attempt, but it won't go.
Him keeping it inbounds on this other side was unreal, the effort that we're already seeing from Watson.
Yeah, you know that the senior players are going to rise up to the task here. They, I'm sure, all love getting the opportunity here to start getting the call.
Oh, you got to love it, right? Senior year, being on the starting 5.
We've already saw Smith with the strong drive. He also got the start against Ottawa, so 2 starts in a row now for the senior. This is Hoyt Hoffine. Hands it off for Isaac Hall, who's in the game, off the bench. 3 on the shot clock, in the corner for Hoyt Hoffine. Won't get it.
Oh.
Panthers yet to score here, and the Cardinals not having any troubles with rebounding, but then Errol Seaman just completely lost the handle on that one. Pretty inexplicable.
Yeah, it's not usually a mistake you see from any of these Cards players, let alone one from Errol Seaman, who almost never makes a mistake like that. Going to give Paola another shot at it.
Hoyt Hoffine in the other corner. Same story, off the back of the rim, but brought down this time by Sanders. Here's Micah Sanders. Spins. Nice block there from Schneider, and then the jump ball won by Jerome will favor the Cards. 3 players waiting to come in, 2 for the Cards, Dunback and Crable. And on the other side, Landon Murdoch, which will make Micaiah Jerome no longer the shortest player on the court because it's Landon Murdoch who stands at 5'6". Seaman and Watson were the ones that went out and away from the ball. Smith draws commits a foul.
So he's going to be the victim of the foul?
Gets called for blocking there.
Looking at the points here scored rate on the season, this Paola team averages just shy of 53 points per game, and they give up over 60 per game to this point in the year. So a lot of those losses are by pretty healthy margins, or unhealthy in their favor. So I would expect to see the Cards not struggle too much to score, but they are going to want to get points in early because the bench a lot healthier for the Panthers here. They're going to play really well down the stretch, I expect.
Surprising with such a tall roster, which just goes to show you height is not everything in basketball by any means.
You can still succeed, kids.
Micaiah Jerome would absolutely reiterate that one for you.
He said, I'm on the starting 5.
And a timeout taken by Coach Ryan Oschel over on the Paola side of things. We can go ahead and keep you here so far. So 4 points here for the Cards. Actually, I feel like they could have scored more at this point, but
easily.
Also Paola very easily could have. They've actually set themselves up for pretty favorable shots. You would think they've had 2 nice open threes, some decent shorter range shots, and have yet to show anything for it. So both teams not executing as high as they would like to be at this point.
Yep.
But the Cardinals do see themselves on top. It can be, we've said it before, it can be dangerous when you have a lead but you're playing sloppy, because the second it slips, then you really get dangerous. You don't have any
the form completely
to
goes
rely
away.
on.
Yep.
So I think they would like to start executing really nicely here. Maybe a 3, but even just getting some more points would be nice. Getting a first chance basket here as they come out of the timeout. Schneider does want the 3, won't get it. Crable rebounds and will go to the line. Clapping it up for the Cards.
He's kind of become Errol Seaman-esque as of late, right? Where you're seeing in the last couple games, he's drawn a lot of fouls, particularly shooting fouls, though that one was not one. He's given himself a lot of free throw opportunities.
I guess that one wouldn't be going to the line. But no, absolutely. Cage Crable is Errol Seaman Jr. for this basketball team.
Not saying anybody could take Errol Seaman's place in that matter, but
someone's going to have to next year. And
right.
Cage
Certainly
Crable
he's been
seems
great.
to be that man.
Schneider, oh my goodness.
Looking for an and one.
He said, come on.
He'll go to the line, I imagine so.
I believe so. Yep, there it is. He was laughing. He said, you got to give me that one.
The foul is on Isaac Hall. It's his second, team's 3rd. He'll go out for Lane Hoffine. So it's not a shooting foul, despite putting up the shot afterwards. Jerome in the corner. Doesn't get it. Paola teammates were fighting each other for a second to get the rebound. They figure it out and now turn down court. Still looking for their first basket.
Panthers are doing a pretty good job setting themselves up on rebounds, really setting themselves up for scoring opportunities in general. Despite that donut on the scoreboard, they've played quite well to this point.
Some loose handles here on the ball from the Panthers, but they still are in control of it. A nice idea there, and they've got their first points thanks to Caden Cohey. Jerome.
Wow.
Near side, Dunback. He wants a three. Oh, doesn't get it.
Oh, I wish he could have.
Would have been his first at the varsity level. Back out here for Cohey. Loose ball now. Crable nearly comes away with it, but instead it's Lane Hoffine who will go to the line. Jackson Smith, is that already a third foul on him? Or is it just his second?
That's his second, says the board.
His second, team second.
Is noteworthy, though. Both team fouls to this point.
Would hate to see this game where the Cards are going to need a lot from him get cut short by fouls.
Right.
We did see Errol Seaman foul out in the game against Ottawa. Seaman will come in for Smith. Otis will come in for Jerome. And it looks like Watson returns in place of Schneider.
2 for 2.
So just like that, we're tied.
Panthers defense being really aggressive at putting bodies up close to where these possessions are starting for the Cards.
Oh, another sloppy pass here. Cardinals now going to be a little bit worried. They might see themselves lose the lead in this game.
From being up 4-0 nonetheless. Panthers working the perimeter.
Hoffine sees it taken away from him, but Murdoch rebounds. Now Cohey driving, putting it up, and they do have the lead.
Now you want to see the Cards remain composed, right?
And then the Cardinals going to turn it over here.
Shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have said it. No, it's going to become the name of the game now for sure. Panthers starting to get a little bit of momentum. Here's a three.
No good there for Cohey, but they do grab the rebound. It was Murdoch.
Now another shot at it, trying to make it more than 6 unanswered. Cards kind of gone cold here. Panthers looking white hot these last couple of minutes.
Lane Hoffine in the lane will draw a jump ball. So it stays with the Panthers. Cohey gets it in for Bassett. Back for Cohey, driving, shooting, scoring, and he'll go to the line as well.
Wow. That was really well done.
Paola already now matching the Cardinals' biggest lead. It really is a dangerous thing to have a lead when you're playing sloppy.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know what else you can do there. Just, I guess, quit playing sloppy.
That's a simple answer.
But it just makes it so that once the other team starts to get a foothold, you really don't have anything in the game to lean on, thinking of, oh no, I made this shot, I know I'm playing well today. If you haven't been so far, then that can really just make your confidence slip even more than if you
seen it happen.
Then, like, if Paola had just had a nice clean start, it would feel very different for the Cards than seeing a lead vanish on them. And now it could get even worse here before this quarter comes to an end. Here's Murdoch. Across for Bassett. Goes for the three. He'll get it. A first three in this game for the Panthers. So now the Panthers lead by 8. The Cardinals have struggled to break down the middle part of the court here. Been very sloppy. A couple mistakes, a couple loose passes, but they now do get into the offensive end of the court. Otis wants a three. Doesn't get it. Crable rebounds, puts it back immediately. So that was big there. If that rebound went to Paola, it would have just felt like it was stacking
crushing up. However, work to be done still.
Murdoch absolutely shut down by Dunback, but a foul gets called. Seemed like it was all ball. I'm not sure how that could be a foul, but they must have seen something different, so Murdoch will go to the line.
I didn't think that could have been a whole lot cleaner.
Oh. The PA said Watson, but I think that must have been a mistake. Murdoch missed the first.
He said Watson, and Connor looked up like, what?
It was Dunback.
Why are you saying my name? Watson will come out. Among a couple of Paola players. That was Schneider coming in. Hopeful for another miss here is the fan section for the Cards, and they'll get it.
Loose ball, Crable comes away with it. Here's Otis. Now Schneider. A couple different three-point threats. Errol Seaman not one of those. Now Otis driving into the paint. A nice layup, and wow, couldn't get it to go, and then Crable denied, but Seaman rebounds. Shot clock off. He lost the handle for a second, but pops it out, and it's still got a hold. And a timeout taken by Coach Cleveland the second he saw his team had clear possessions. A 30-second timeout. What is going on for the Cardinals? They are looking like their hands are covered in soap when they get inside the perimeter. Specifically, Errol Seaman of all people.
Yeah.
Seems to not be able to keep a grip on the ball at the moment.
And he relies so much on that, right? That's so much of his game is being able to fight through contact and hold on to possession. Definitely tell he's a little bit thrown off by seemingly not having his usual bag of tricks work out.
It's probably a credit, though, Paola. They've got such tall players. That means they've got a lot of long arms.
A lot of reach.
Reaching in and around, keeping people uncomfortable. But yeah, that's an easy thing to put up on the whiteboard as things to fix, is just keeping a nice grip on the ball and being a little more controlled in offensive possession. There have been a lot of more hopeful passes or loose balls, and they just need to have an idea. You know, when you're releasing it, you be making eye contact with somebody who's going to get that ball from you. And they can look to try and get it closer here with just a little over 24 left in Q1.
And we know they're capable of it. But it has been a little bit of a struggle later here in the first quarter.
Schneider
trying to play
against
keep away.
Jace Curley. And must have stepped out on this near side. So now 13.1 seconds for Paola. Landon Murdoch. To the ground goes Dunback. Murdoch.
Dunback did a great job to recover there.
And then does get a hand on the ball to slow down Paola a bit. Now with 2.5 left, they'll probably just get it into someone who will shoot. They might have time to make a second pass.
I think they'll have time for a second pass if the first one is extremely quick and gives the player who catches it, you know, if he already has set feet and a good opportunity to pass through.
Murdoch goes out for Cohee, a 7-inch difference in height between those two. Here's Cohee, he'll just shoot, and nearly got it from a third of the way down court, but couldn't get it. So in a quarter that the Cardinals led by 4, they trail by 6 as we head to the second.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, serving you.
The MVPs of BBQ. That's Barbed Wire Barbecue in Eudora. Family owned and operated, Barbed Wire Barbecue delivers great food and small town hospitality at a valued price. High quality hickory smoked meats, house seasonings, and time tested recipes put Barbed Wire Barbecue a cut above the rest. Kick off your weekend with our delicious brunch on Saturdays and Sundays and enjoy game day your way with Barbed Wire Game Day Packs. Visit them at 601 East 10th in Eudora or see their full lineup of flavors at barbedwirebarbecue.com.
All right, about to be second quarter action here on this simulcast doubleheader between Eudora and Paola. We said in pregame that a decent matchup for the Cardinals to try and get back above 500, but look at this Paola team showing a lot of fight. How can you be surprised by that? It's Paola.
Yeah.
As they've got the Cardinals doubled up here right now, on top by 6. The Cards with their same starting 5 out there, the 4 seniors and the freshmen. Here is Schneider. And
whoa!
Look at that finish, high off the glass from the year 9.
It's one of those shots where you're watching it bounce around, you're going, surely not, surely not.
Moving it around, here's Hoffine. Now Cohey. And for the other Hoffine, I should clarify between Lane and Hoyt. Here's Lane Hoffine. They make themselves pretty obvious, though, with both of their 6'5 frames. Micah Sanders for Cohey. 6 on the shot clock as Watson's going to take it away. He's being chased down by 2 Panthers players, but he'll finish regardless. What a nice layup there from the senior.
And you know, running down the court, he had all kinds of pressure on him. Knew he had 2 Panthers nipping on his heels, had to make that shot count. Did a really good job to fade away and kind of stutter on it. And that one going to be knocked out by Smith.
And the Cardinals with 2 impressive baskets to start the second quarter.
Yeah, it looks like only 4 points, but make no mistake about it, those are a hard-fought 4 points. And just like that, turned what was a 6-point deficit into just a 2-point deficit within just 68 seconds of this second quarter.
And an errant pass, going to be a Cardinals ball.
Feels like one of those games that may be similar to the football game last year between Paola and Eudora. Very based on momentum, right? Very based on who gets hot for a moment and goes on a little bit of a run. And that happened to Paola in the first quarter. And then here early in the second, you see the Cards go on a little bit of a run. And the Panthers are kind of compounding that.
Just need to keep playing clean. Don't give away the ball cheaply. Jerome tries to find the edge, sneaks in, nearly laid it in, but the rebound brought down by Hoyt Hoffine.
The Panthers got a rebound? There's no way.
You've got a 6'5 player out there as a whistle blows here for a foul on the floor. It's Connor Watson, his first, team's first. Murdoch will come in for Hoyt Hoffine. Going for 3 is number 3, Jace Curley, doesn't get it. Smith now has the loose ball. Coach Cleveland wanted a foul there. Jerome against Curley, hands it off for Watson, out for Smith. Driving to the left for Jerome in the corner. The senior gives the Cardinals the lead right back. A 7-point run here to start the quarter.
Here's
a
an
quick
answer.
response though, and it'll come for Cohey. Looking for a travel where Paola Schneider, can we see another? We will!
Wow. That was 15 seconds of game time. 3 3-pointers, 9 points scored.
3 lead changes.
Unbelievable stretch right there. And another. Layup for Paola to give them a slim lead back.
Now going to be a Cardinals ball here. Only 2 lead changes. They then tied the game at 15.
Yep.
That's my bad, not yours.
Either way.
Then Paola retained the lead with that layup.
3 scores within about a dozen seconds and 2 lead changes.
Smith will tie the game. I'll tell you one thing, the Cardinals aren't playing sloppy anymore.
No, it's completely gone away. And it's not really based on momentum anymore. Not really a hot stretch from either team, just answering each other now, step for step. Smooth passes off for the Panthers, not fooling the Cards defense though.
Curley for Sanders into Lane Hoffine, and then laid in by Sanders, his first points.
I'm noticing on the body language though for the Cards, it almost seems like they're kind of saying, good, that's okay. We're okay with you scoring.
Nice hesitation from Watson. Can he capitalize? No, but Seaman rebounds, and he can't score, and then last touch by Watson. With the way this one's going, that seemed big, just to
does seem big.
to try and get a quick response. Coming in for his first minutes, Keelan Duncan in place of Connor Watson.
Yeah, that can completely depend on how the game's going, right? Sometimes missing a simple layup is, we'll shake that off, no big deal. Sometimes it feels really significant, and I'll say in that moment, certainly did.
Gets shut down by Errol Seaman, and this one will stand.
Little eruption from Cardinal Arena on the home crowd side, too. Now Schneider going to slow things down a bit, I'd say, as he probably should. Let the Cards kind of get on top of things.
Here's Duncan going to the basket. Doesn't get it. Fought hard for the rebound, but Hoyt Hoffine always going to come down with that one.
I will say at this point, I would like the Cards to stop kind of relying on getting those rebounds, because against this Panthers team, they're showing that's going to be a losing battle and one that they will take every single time, knowing they're going to win the majority of them.
Kohi for three, he'll get it.
Now you look to see the Cards continue to not play sloppy, right? Even though the deficit has grown just a little bit larger, you want to not see them flinch in the face of it.
Foul on the floor.
It's against Curley, his first, and the team's first of the quarter.
And now Dunback will go in for Jerome. Dunback looking to try and find an option. Goes for Errol Seaman. Now Schneider wants a little bit of space. Smith lost the handle for a second. Does nice to recover. Dunback. Now Duncan. And a foul called against Paola. It's going to be on Kohi.
It's kind of feeling like one of those games where you think both teams are a ball with a magnet on the inside, right? They're kind of pulling towards each other. You see one team get a little ways apart, and then the team with the advantage makes a couple of mistakes. Team behind starts to reel him back in, but no guarantee yet for the Cards.
Nice job there by Schneider to collect the loose ball. Just couldn't get it to roll in. Wow, that's unlucky.
It was a heck of an effort, too. Really nifty shot. Just didn't quite fall his way.
And now a whistle on the other side will send the Panthers to the line. Duncan's first, team second. Kohi 1 of 1 at the line. Watson and Crable return for Duncan and for Seaman. And someone else needs to leave. It is Duncan.
Someone else needs to leave.
And maintains his perfect night at the line now, 3 for 3, leading the team with 12 points.
Now the Panthers putting a little bit of pressure on. Definitely stacking that lead a little bit higher, puts just a little more tension and weight on the shoulders of the Cards, making them feel obligated to an answer, which they have struggled a little bit in the recent minutes. Really the entirety of this second quarter, it's been a bit tougher on them.
Jackson Smith. Nice layout for Crable. Dunback. Is it a three? It is! Let's go, Caden Dunback. Cards back within 4.
These teams are making it tough on me, man. I can't build the narrative. Every time I get one roll and they break it. Definitely still seeing a slight trend, though.
For the corner, Hoyt Hoffine doesn't get it.
That trend does continue. Team with the lead, making just enough little mistakes to leave the door open, and the team behind, whoever that may be, seems to cut down their mistakes until they get into the lead, and then you see mistakes again. Possession going to turn here for the Panthers, going to start going the other way.
Here's Murdoch for Hoyt Hoffine. Hands it off for Bassett. Slips in on the right side, shut down by Schneider.
And then instantly grabbed up out of the air, taken away by Smith. Panthers still taking the approach of trying to almost match a man to every Cards blocker on offense, trying to put as much pressure on as possible. Now they'll loosen off a little bit around the perimeter, keeping a lot of bodies in the paint.
Oh, wow. Tried to get it across for Dunback, and it hit him. It was a tough one to corral there. Schneider goes out for Otis. Moving it around into the paint here is Lane. $10 on the shot clock, 45 in the quarter. $3 on the shot clock now. Gonna have to go for it. Sanders, no good. So the Cardinals will get the ball with the shot clock off.
And only down by 4. I think the way this game's going, a layup or especially a three-pointer would make this game essentially feel tied going into the half. These two teams feeling so even. I'd say even if they're down by a point or two, may as well feel as good as a tie game, but down by 4 would feel significant.
Here's Otis. Dunback slowing things down as Cleveland makes the call from the sideline.
Sounds like coach wants them to run it down as low as they can here. Under 10 to go now.
Watson hands off for Dunback. For Otis, he's good at these. Doesn't get it. And now, will we see something full court from Curley? We won't. So 24-20. Cardinals holding it close here, but Paola lead after quarter 1 and quarter 2. Keeping the Cardinals a little uncomfortable as they try to stay above 500. Paola looking for their first win in 6 games. They've got the lead here, but it's narrow. When we're back, it's the halftime show.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, serving you.
Just like the Cardinals are striving for success, Caw Valley State Bank's mission is your success. At Caw Valley State Bank, they provide the best, most efficient, courteous, and professional banking services possible. And at Caw Valley, they recognize that the customer and their satisfaction is the most important ingredient to growing their community. With all the services you've come to expect from the hometown partner you deserve, Caw Valley State Bank, online at kvsb.com, a proud supporter of Eudora Schools.
Hey, I'm Mike Rope, here today to encourage you to connect with 811 before you dig.
And I'm Micro, and I'm here because I love to dig in the dirt.
It's true. He's also here because he's very small and not that bright. Here, for instance, we can see Micro doing what he loves to do. And here we can see the consequences of not doing what he should have done. Dude, why didn't you call 811?
I forgot the number.
See? Not that bright.
High-quality foods, friendly service, great prices, and a connection to the community that is unsurpassed. That's Jean's Heartland Foods in Eudora. Family-owned, Jean's Heartland Foods offers a convenient one-stop shop, delivering the everyday essentials you need to specialty items from around the world. Jean's friendly staff is here to help you find exactly what you're looking for. You have options when it comes to feeding your family. Choose to support local. Choose Jean's Heartland Foods, 1402 Church Street in Eudora, or online at heartlandfoodstores.com.
Number one, obviously, is safety. We definitely call 811 to find out if there are any buried lines, fiber optic, whether it be telephone or pipeline or anything. Don't take a chance. Don't think you know and say, well, I don't remember anything being put in there. call 811 and make sure that that's identified, that there isn't something there before you make that crossing. Because in the end, we want everybody going home.
Prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know.
and Clark sheer athleticism.
It's about your right to be informed. Today, there are real threats to press freedom
Reaching residential areas?
and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you. Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
The MVPs of BBQ. That's Barbed Wire Barbecue in Eudora. Family owned and operated, Barbed Wire Barbecue delivers great food and small town hospitality at a valued price. High quality hickory smoked meats, house seasonings, and time tested recipes put Barbed Wire Barbecue a cut above the rest. Kick off your weekend with our delicious brunch on Saturdays and Sundays and enjoy game day your way with Barbed Wire Game Day Packs. Visit them at 601 East 10th in Eudora or see their full lineup of flavors at barbedwirebarbecue.com. Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams, surgeries, routine vaccinations, and emergency care.
I just want to thank everybody in the community for trusting us with the care of their animals, and go Dogs!
Schedule an appointment by calling 785-542-3265 or visit eudoravet.com. High-quality foods, friendly service, great prices, and a connection to the community that is unsurpassed. That's Jean's Heartland Foods in Eudora. Family-owned, Jean's Heartland Foods offers a convenient one-stop shop, delivering the everyday essentials you need to specialty items from around the world. Jean's friendly staff is here to help you find exactly what you're looking for. You have options when it comes to feeding your family. Choose to support local. Choose Jean's Heartland Foods, 1402 Church Street in Eudora, or online at heartlandfoodstores.com.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers, we have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
More time before you wake up in the wild.
Our natural world needs us now. Step by step, side by side, together, we can find a way to ensure that all life on Earth can thrive. To learn more about how you can help protect and conserve nature, visit nature.org.
The MVPs of BBQ. That's Barbed Wire Barbecue in Eudora. Family owned and operated, Barbed Wire Barbecue delivers great food and small town hospitality at a valued price. High quality hickory smoked meats, house seasonings, and time tested recipes put Barbed Wire Barbecue a cut above the rest. Kick off your weekend with our delicious brunch on Saturdays and Sundays and enjoy game day your way with Barbed Wire Game Day Packs. Visit them at 601 East 10th in Eudora or see their full lineup of flavors at barbedwirebarbecue.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Rowe, here today to encourage you to connect with 811 before you dig.
And I'm Micro, and I'm here because I love to dig in the dirt.
It's true. He's also here because he's very small and not that bright. Here, for instance, we can see Micro doing what he loves to do. And here we can see the consequences of not doing what he should have done. Dude, why didn't you call 811?
I forgot the number.
See? Not that bright.
How do you see the world?
Ha!
At Shriners Hospitals for Children, we know that changing how you see things can turn them into
everyday miracles,
like riding my bike,
breaking boards, ha! Hugging my mom.
Every day for over 90 years, Shriners Hospitals for Children has been sending love to the rescue, regardless of a family's ability to pay.
If you know a child we can help, call or go online now.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
All right. Hello there, everybody. Welcome into our Gene's Heartland Foods halftime show. It's a little bit longer than normal. We've got a winter royalty ceremony. This was supposed to be split over Thursday and Friday, but because it's been pushed together due to weather, we've got it all going on right here. So I'll read you a list of candidates before we find out winter royalty. For the freshmen, it's Ava Dye and Jay Noble. Sophomore, Izzy Brunkow and Joey Mastro. Junior, Avery Warren and Ben Pierron. And then for the seniors, there's 3 groups: Hannah Keltner, Ty Dieterding, Miranda Kuntz, Micaiah Jerome, Addie Hemphill, and Errol Seaman.
Ava's the daughter of Seth and Julie Johnson, the granddaughter of Dave and Rose House, Tammy and Bimbo Johnson, and Bob and Kristen White. Oliver is the son of Gary and Molly Pratt, and the grandson of Walt and Martha Mersman, and Dennis and Rosemary Pratt. How about a hand for these TAs? And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please. Oh, there's no drummers there. The 2025 Eudora High School Winter Royalty Queen, Errol Seaman. And the 25 Eudora High School Winter Royalty Queen, Hannah Keltner. EHS Student Council would like to congratulate Queen Carol and Queen Hannah, along with all of our winter royalty and candidates. We'd like to thank the parents and everyone who came out to celebrate with us tonight. We'd like to extend a special thank you to the faculty, staff, and students at Eudora High School who have worked this year to make this year's winter royalty a great success. We'd also like to thank our guest Paola for their patience in allowing us to celebrate winter royalty tonight. This concludes tonight's coronation ceremony. Students, don't forget to join us for the winter formal tomorrow night from 8:30 to 11 in the Commons. Good luck to both teams in the second half, and go Cards!
So you hopefully heard there, Errol Seaman and Hannah Keltner, a couple senior members of the basketball teams, are your winter royalty here. King Errol and Queen Hannah for the Eudora Cardinals winter royalty. They extended a thank you. We'll do the same here to the Paola teams and staff and everything for giving the patience to let the Cardinals go through that ceremony here today. I imagine it's a little weird. I remember, actually, I talked about this last year. It was Brandon Bolin with me about how it's got to be weird if you're Errol Seaman or Micaiah Jerome not being in the halftime locker room for nearly the entire halftime break. But I'm sure that they are enjoying it, especially Errol Seaman, who walks out of here with a crown. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a little different. You walk into the halftime talk, it's like, what I missed, Coach?
Yeah, we went over it without you. You know, they walk into some heckles in that locker room.
Always a fun time. So many traditions that here in Eudora that have been going on for decades. And there's one playing out there before us. So Errol Seaman and Hannah Keltner are your winter royalty. And now we can get into the basketball part of the halftime show here, brought to us by brought to us by Gene's Heartland Foods. So it's a narrow lead for Paola. We've said it ad nauseum that you want to come back, you got to win quarters. Cardinals did that. They won that quarter 14-12, so they made a little bit of progress there. Paola has put up 12 points in both quarters. The Cardinals did way better, putting up 6 in the first, 20 in the second to put themselves in a much better spot in this game. So what do they need to do, Hayden, going forward? Is it just more of the same from that second quarter, or what do you think?
Well, I think a big instrument is going to be them needing to kind of recapture that brief yet very significant spurt they had midway through that second quarter where they just caught fire. I mean, granted, the Panthers did too, which is why you didn't see the scoreboard change in their favor a whole lot, but you even mentioned it on air. You said they're not making mistakes anymore. Like, everything they did was working. They were going up and down the court well, playing good defense, specifically playing good on offense. They had some really tricky layup attempts that went in every single time. I mean, they just weren't making the errors that they were making early on. So I think they're going to want to recapture that as much as they possibly can. Big focal point as well is going to be momentum, right? Not letting yourself kind of get sunken down and defeated. If the Panthers do come out of this break and score another basket or two, and they stretch that lead out to maybe a little bit bigger, you look to see the Cards try to not let that affect them too much. Keep doing what they know how to do. Keep playing their own game. And for the Panthers, I think it's going to be a pretty heavy focus on continuing to do what they did in the first half in terms of point scoring. I think defense is going to want to improve a little bit because the Cards did show that they were able to score on them fairly easily when they were playing well. But I think overall, especially the rebounding, the Panthers have been really, really good at, which you alluded to. You said we expect them to be good at the rebounding, and they've done a really good job of that. But to this point, I'm looking really, really excited. The Cards have been a little more sporadic. Panthers have been extremely consistent, as you said, the same amount of points in both the first and second quarter. But looks like we're in for a good second half.
Yeah, I think that the Cards can do a lot of what they did in that second quarter, especially I think back to the last shot of the quarter where they set up Julian Otis for a nice open three, and he just didn't get it. But I'm looking at him here in warmups. He will get those if those opportunities keep coming. And so if they can stay calm, don't be sloppy like they were in that first quarter, just move the ball how you'd like to, get the right people open. I mean, we just saw, there you go, Schneider and Jerome making back-to-back threes. Can Otis get it on the fun? No, but you get the point. They can make these shots if they set themselves up well. They can have the second half that they need if they just keep winning the quarters. Even if they won the next 2 quarters by 2, just like they did in the second quarter, we would at least be seeing overtime, which is something that the Panthers are well familiar with at this point, having spent 4 quarters in overtime this season, only in 2 games, oddly enough. But yeah, so the Panthers doing well here. We've run through all of our breaks, so we don't need to send you to one anymore through that winter royalty ceremonies. We can keep it here for the next 55 seconds or so. Panthers are done warming up now, talking with their coach Ryan Oshel as the Cardinals wrap up their warm-ups as well, and now get back to talking with Coach Cleveland as they decide how they want to go forward in this game. I think we'll be starting with a Panthers ball. And yeah, I mean, we've seen the Panthers have such a great height advantage, but they struggle to use it a lot. And part of that is modern basketball when you see Hoyt Hoffine, who is 6'5", attempting corner threes.
Right.
But that's just part of the game today. You'll see Victor Wembanyama doing the exact same thing in the NBA, despite being 7'6".
You would never think he would be trying that.
Back in the 90s, that would be never happening. Absolutely not. But that's modern basketball now. The three-pointers.
Cough, Shaquille O'Neal.
And
you never see it.
So I don't know. I mean, the Panthers, they've got that height advantage. If they can continue to use it, they've had a decent share of the rebounds in this one. But Cardinals with a lot of effort, a lot of well-timed jumps, and they've held themselves right in this one. But against a team with a losing record, they are trailing here as we get going on the third quarter. Here is Caden Cohey. Looks like they've got their starting 5 out there for Paola. Same cannot be said for the Cards. Dunback out there as an errant pass, but did it take a touch from Watson? It did.
Ooh.
He knew that it did.
He's
hoping. No, he's laughing it off. He was hoping the official didn't see it, but he did spot that one. Just took a touch off of his fingers.
He immediately tapped his chest, said, "That's on me."
So yeah, Dunback is out there in place of Micaiah Jerome. Otherwise, it is the same starting 5. So the 3 seniors and Schneider. Cohey, 6 on the shot clock. Hoyt Hoffine, here's him going for 3, and he'll get this one.
And this is what I talked about in the half break. I wanted the Cards to really focus on, if they got scored on early, to not fall into that hole. See how they respond to it here.
Schneider in the paint. Wow, unlucky bounce. Paola rebound on this occasion. They're pulling away a little bit. Starting off this quarter. Curley. Across to Hoyt Hoffine. In for Lane Hoffine. And shut down by Watson.
Not sure Hoffine knew Watson was there. He dodged Daryl Seaman and clearly thought he was kind of home free for that shot. Out of nowhere came number 13.
Cohey into Curley. Curley drives. Hoyt in the corner. Pulls up a mid-range jumper, no good. Off the glass, Watson rebounds. Seaman with a 1v3, gonna need to slow things down a bit. Finds Dunback. Gets a pick. Driving. And who touched the last? Cardinals ball. Curley gets a touch on it, doesn't agree.
The Cards are doing a good job here to keep some pressure on the Panthers. Not let them get too comfy, but they do need to start putting up points here quickly. Otherwise, these glimmers of hope on defense not going to get them very far.
Smith turns, shoots, doesn't get it. Hoyt Hoffine gets up for the rebound.
Panthers looking pretty comfy here, especially around the perimeter. Content to move it
Cohey
around.
from way downtown. Doesn't get it. The loose ball slapped out to the perimeter.
And again, all kinds of room. They know somebody's going to get a shot at the long one. Just a matter of who. They knock back two more.
Dunback drives. Schneider in space. You know he wants it. Doesn't get it.
Seems like he's had a couple of really unlucky falls to start off this second half. Couple of shots that maybe the majority of the time sink.
Cohey won't get it. Still loose. Smith goes to the ground, but Seaman able to come away with it and then passes it back to him. Nice idea there. Dunback leading the charge and called for a carry.
Wow.
It's an unfortunate loss of possession there.
It's an extremely unfortunate loss of possession, especially down by near double digits. Just a mistake that you don't want to let yourself make, right?
Jerome and Crable come in for Schneider and Smith. Hand off for Cohey. Near side now, Sanders. Hey, don't forget the camera. Curley. 7 on the shot clock for Sanders. Hoyt Hoffine, jump shot 3, he'll sink it. He had no points in the first half, and he's got 6 already here in the second. No, he's got 5 here in the second for a long 2. And now Julian Otis will come in for Connor Watson. Dunback leading a charge. Now Errol Seaman into the paint, wants to go up, went up, but shut down by Hoyt Hoffine. All Panthers to start this second half. 7-point run here.
They're doing a really good job, mainly defensively.
Cohey wants to make it 10. He will. Having their way with the Cardinals right now.
Scratch that, make it offensively.
Going to induce a timeout from the Cardinals, who've seen a 10-0 run here to begin the third quarter. We'll take a quick break.
Eudora Parks and Recreation is committed to creating community through parks, people, and programs. Their goal is to provide recreational opportunities for the community of Eudora that will enhance and promote a healthy lifestyle for all ages. The Eudora Parks and Recreation Department gives Eudora residents and others from surrounding communities the opportunity for family-oriented activities. Visit their website at eudoraparksandrec.org to view their youth and adult programs, leagues, memberships, facilities, activity guides, and more, and follow them on all social media at Eudora Parks and Rec.
Keelan Duncan looks set to join the 5 out on the court to begin play out of the timeout. It's going to be Jerome, Dunback, Crable, Duncan, and Otis. To start for the Cardinals. Here's Dunback. Otis across for Jerome, lost the handle but able to gather it. Otis. Duncan. Pass for Crable, out for Otis. Oh, doesn't get it. Cardinals really needed that one.
Man.
Now here's Cohey going the other way. Hoyt Hoffine, he's on fire here in the third quarter.
Unreal performance here in the third. For Hoffine particularly, with the entire Panthers roster. They're playing near perfect ball here.
8 of their 13 points have come from the 6'5" forward. Otis. Jerome straight on the pin, doesn't get it.
Feels like most of these threes are threes that really should be going, Reed.
And they're coming from players who are fully capable. Here's an errant pass. Can the Cards capitalize? 2v2, sets up Otis. He'll draw an and one.
Wow, he went for a slide too. It's an easy and one call. And really a necessary and one.
Cardinals needed something like that to pick up the energy.
Yeah.
And also bring the score a little closer. It just kept growing bigger and bigger.
I mean, this one was starting to feel like it was maybe getting away. This and one is feeling very necessary here for Otis.
And he gets it. Nerves of steel from the junior.
That's not an easy free throw to make at all in that moment, is it? Oh, that one taken away by Jerome. But a whistle blows. It is going to be Panthers inbound.
Coach Cleveland was unhappy with Caden Dunback's defensive positioning. Then he sort of found himself caught out as he tried to jump and block the pass. Now Lane Hoffine got it taken away by Crable, but illegally so, they say.
Feels like everything's fighting against the Cards right now, doesn't it? Just struggling a lot to get momentum rolling, even after positive plays.
Definitely not the ideal start to this third quarter, which rapidly so is most way through here. Still a Panthers ball after Dunback got a hand in. Connor Watson will come in for Micaiah Jerome. Cleveland trying to get answers out of a bit of a different squad out there on the court right now.
Kind of hoping for a little momentum, just hoping a certain group of guys will get you rolling a little bit. Obviously been struggling a lot here in the second half.
Duncan with a lot of effort. Looking like Izzy Brunkow. Hoyt Hoffine doesn't get the short range jumper. Sanders in the paint.
Oh my
Draws
goodness.
an and one.
I can't believe that shot went in. Unbelievable poise, unbelievable patience. So impressive.
Panthers are on a really big run here. 15-2. Or 15-3 rather, is the run here to start this third quarter.
Wow. Well, going back to their previous couple of games, they started this year 3-4, so just below 500. They're 1-5 since that start, so they've really been in a hefty slide. So coming in here against a good team, trying to put themselves in a position to grab up a win would be huge as they knock back the end one as well.
So make it a 16-3 run here in the third. If the Panthers hadn't scored yet, the Cardinals still wouldn't have taken the lead back from them because it was 24-20, but they have scored plenty.
I think the Cards would say they've scored too much. They've already crossed 40 on the day.
It's because Hoffine started hitting as a primary factor there. He's got half of the points.
Reminds me of a certain Cy Thomas or Cash Schneider on the Card side, right, where you say when they get rolling.
Watson in the corner. He gets it. Nicely done from the senior to put him up to 5 points.
from a player we're not usually looking at for the threes either. Well done in a big moment for Watson.
Murdoch. Hoyt Hoffine in for Isaac Hall, who gets his first points.
And they're playing quintessential basketball with a lead. They give up 3, grab 2 right back. Because with the lead they've got, it's all they've really got to do here. Just play step for step with the Cards the rest of the way out.
Dunback trapped in the corner. .11 on the shot clock. Otis. Powerful pass for Smith. Looking for a foul, won't get it. Ball on the ground. Murdoch passes out for Hoyt Hoffine.
Now under a minute to
go before the fourth. Cohee. Murdoch. Hoyt Hoffine. Sneaks past Crable, who then gets a hand up, but he's going to be whistled for a foul, so that should send Hoyt Hoffine to the line.
If I were Coach Cleveland, I'd kind of be thinking, call that on all of us. Call that on the Panther side too, but at this point, not a whole lot of it happening, not enough to offset the way these two teams are playing right now. Panthers just unbelievable in the third quarter here.
Cards will put Schneider and Seaman in for Dunback and Crable. Hoffine goes 0 of 2 at the line.
I'll take things I didn't see happening today for 500.
Murdoch for 3. Doesn't get it. Schneider rebounds.
Cash Schneider looked like he was about 3 foot in the air on that one.
8-second difference between shot and game clock. Schneider lays it off for Smith. Seaman out for Otis. Driving and foul in there. A couple different things. A goaltending could have been called, but it will be called against, is it Bassett? It is called on Stephen Bassett. So it sends Otis to the line.
Makes the first.
Otis looking like one of those guys that just represents composure.
Yeah.
3 of 3 at the line now. Got 5 points in a big moment for the Cards.
A little Ava Dye reminiscent, perhaps.
Murdoch against Watson. Watson maybe gets a little fortunate to not get called for an elbow in there. The shot clock is off here. 13 against 13. Murdoch goes towards the basket, won't get it. Taken back by Hall, who scores. Can the Cardinals get something up? They cannot. So the last basket for Paola means that they've got a pretty hefty lead here, headed to the fourth. The Panthers comfortably winning that quarter, and the Cardinals are now uncomfortable as they've got a chance here against a tough team. Have to be an impressive comeback. Keep it here for the fourth quarter.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
The MVPs of BBQ. That's Barbed Wire Barbecue in Eudora. Family owned and operated, Barbed Wire Barbecue delivers great food and small town hospitality at a valued price. High quality hickory smoked meats, house seasonings, and time tested recipes put Barbed Wire Barbecue a cut above the rest. Kick off your weekend with our delicious brunch on Saturdays and Sundays and enjoy game day your way with Barbed Wire Game.
Fourth quarter underway here. The Panthers won that quarter by 12. Watson couldn't get that one in. So they've added on to what was just a 4-point lead at halftime. and look pretty well on their way to try and get their 5th win of the season. The Cardinals try to avoid a 4th loss in 5. Cohey shut down, but Crable hit with a foul. It's Crable's 4th. Cohey goes 0 for 2. Some gamesmanship from some Eudorans here in the arena. Might be pulling a Houston Astros banging on a trash can, not making the Paola fans happy at all.
I'm not loving it.
It's home field advantage, baby.
Deal with it.
Connor Watson gets hit with the foul. His second, team's second.
The crowd's starting to grow increasingly frustrated with each foul called here, but to be frank, I don't think it matters. The way they're playing, not like any of those fouls would have made a world of difference.
Lane Hoffine trying to find some space, won't find enough. Crable rebounds and a nice pass to Duncan. He and Watson are there. He hesitates and scores. Was maybe looking to try and draw a foul there, but did really well to finish through contact. Now under pressure, Murdoch gets it across. Watson laid out to try and get there. Curley goes for the 3, doesn't get it. Brought down by Murdoch, the rebound. Some space for Sanders, and now Curley. Lane Hoffine goes up, gets it, doesn't get it. And Crable rebounds. Brody Wenger out on the court for his first minutes in this one.
Cards are playing phenomenal defensively.
Watson in the corner. Won't get it. Crable rebounds. Him fighting his own teammate. Able to stay in, but then intercepted by Sanders.
They're playing really well defensively to open this 4th quarter. The offensive production just not there. We're seeing a comeback. Stopping your opponent is one half of it, but you got to put up the points on the other side, and the Cards still struggling a lot to do that to this point.
Cohey hesitated and then ripped back by Wenger, maybe intentionally taking that foul. Team's 3rd, Wenger's 1st, and now a triple change. Seaman, Schneider, Otis for 12, 13, and 14. That's Crable, Watson, and Duncan. It was not really?
Wenger.
Yeah, no, it was Wenger's foul.
Yeah,
it was 100% Wenger's foul.
100%.
They called out that it was Watson's, but then said, undo that correction. It was Wenger's.
That is the 2nd time today I've seen Connor Watson hear his name called and perk up and go, what?
Lane Hoffine won't get it. Gets the putback.
The composure from the Panthers today. Unreal. Hardly making a mistake at all when things don't go their way. Completely unflinching.
Wenger. Loose pass there. Paola feel like they could be putting the finishing touches here on a big victory. Curley.
Got to be looking for a dagger here, you think, in the minds of those Panthers players.
Murdoch. Well, a lot of that dagger could just come from eating the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seaman going to take that pass away. Cardinals have been doing well to create some possessions here. They need to capitalize on them, though. Seaman in some space on the left side. Back out to Schneider now.
Laser of a pass.
And it went out off of Murdoch, so a Cardinals ball still. 20 on the shot clock.
I'm almost surprised Cash Schneider caught that pass from Errol Seaman. That was a missile.
I'm also surprised that Seaman saw that angle to make that pass.
Right. Well, and then executing it's a whole different thing, right? Being able to put that on the money with your back turned. Nearly a no-looker.
Schneider. Shut down by Lane Hoffine.
Now it seems like that height's coming into play, right? Now that these Panthers players fully understand what the Cards are trying to do. Almost taking the gloves off here. The blocks have just been relentless. Seemingly every Cards player on the roster struggling.
Sanders shut down by Schneider.
Gives it to Seaman.
Wenger, Otis, catch and shoot, and score! Cardinals needed that one, a timeout taken. They're within 13. It's not out of reach, but it's really a matter of time at this point. It's a matter of getting the ball away quickly and then going down and scoring, and also they have to keep Paola from scoring. This is certainly not something that is out of the range of the possibility, but
no.
If we hit 2 minutes and we're still in this spot, it's going to be pretty much impossible.
Yep.
So they need to, I don't know what the numbers are, but by the time that there's 3 minutes, this deficit needs to be closer. And the time that there's 2 minutes left, this deficit needs to be even closer still. And they just need to keep making progress. And I feel like the three-point line could factor in pretty largely to that.
Oh, it 100% can. I feel like if you cut the deficit roughly in half, given that we have just over 4 minutes left, I think if the Cards are within 6 or 7 within the last 2 minutes, I think they're sitting in a really good position, because you got to imagine at that point they're going to have momentum, right? If they're back by, say, 7, 2 minutes to go means they've put up 6 or 7 unanswered. But again, the margin for error certainly razor thin, if not even thinner than that at this point for the Cards. Got to be good on defense, got to be good on offense.
You can see the press from the Cardinals, very aggressive. Great catch from Murdoch.
But maybe a numbers disadvantage on the front end now. They regroup.
Panthers are moving quickly for a second, but realize they don't need to here. And they're going to turn it over.
Opportunities, right? These are the ones the Cards have to take advantage of, Reed.
And the Cardinals defense is doing great here in this fourth quarter to present that to their offense. They just need to match that level of effort and that consistency and convert.
Right.
Schneider with the catch and shoot. And did it take a touch? They wanted a tip, they won't get it. So Paola's ball. Schneider really forced that shot there.
He did.
It's possible that it did take a tip, but
even if it took a touch, I think that was kind of an ill-fated decision to begin with.
So that earned possession goes amiss, and now Schneider will foul. Cardinals probably looking to put Paola into the bonus as fast as possible. They are at 4 team fouls now. It's only Schneider's first.
It's a good thing. As good of a three-point shooter as he is, put the Cards in a really tough spot if he's already nearing foul trouble.
Hoyt Hoffine. Hands off to Murdoch. And Jerome will get hit with the foul. Don't think that he was intending to. It'll send Murdoch to the line where he is 0 for 2. Jerome's first.
Does not get the first. Once again, just a series of little silver linings for the Cards, but the offensive execution has got to catch up to how the defense is playing and the way Fortune has been playing the last minute or two, really. Second shot, however, goes up and good for Murdoch.
Gets his first point.
And they stretch the gap out to 18 now.
Schneider spun into the paint. Drew a foul.
I couldn't see the scoreboard. It's 14.
Murdoch hit with his first, team's first. And whistles blowing here. What for? Talking to for Schneider, as well as Sanders. Official not liking what he was seeing in the court before the inbound happened. And now Coach Cleveland will take the chance to put Crable in for Otis. And a technical foul.
Wow.
Going to be called on Schneider. He's been sort of jawing ever since he got hit with his first foul. It was really since that missed three that didn't get the tip call that he thought he had. He's been pretty unhappy since, and will get hit with a technical foul here, which will really, really hurt the Cardinals. The game sort of ended, or felt like it ended in a similar way against Ottawa, where there was a technical foul against Errol Seaman that set up Ottawa to get multiple free throws, and then the ball right after that.
Kind of felt like the dagger.
It just felt like that was it. But it looks like there won't be any free throws here because it was a dead ball. So it just becomes a Paola possession. And Coach Cleveland will grab Schneider, putting in Connor Watson in his place. Imagine Schneider might take a while out from this game. We might not even see him again. Just seems like he's become a little frustrated. Sometimes frustrated players can play really well for you, but you don't want them to start getting your team into trouble.
They can kind of compound the mistakes of the whole team. Or on the other hand, as you said, sometimes a frustrated player kind of reverses everything, right? Coach Cleveland deciding on the first of the two.
So a timeout taken here with things getting harder for the Cardinals. We were assessing it when it was 13 at 4 minutes left. It's now just above 3 minutes left, and the deficit is even larger. Definitely does not favor the Cardinals here, that they're not starting to get on that comeback trail here. They do have the ability, now that Paola's in the bonus, to try and foul and match them on the other side of the court, which I would think they could do that.
They're capable of it
as time goes on, but they won't want to do that right now because they've been able to force mistakes and missed possessions from Paola. Nearly there, Seaman with a reach around. Cohee against Jerome. Gets into the paint, draws a foul. So that'll send Cohee to the line. It's Jerome's second. Cohee's 3 for 5. And it goes. Only gets the one.
Now a lot of urgency from Connor Watson moving over to the other side. Tight defense from the Panthers here on the approach.
Jerome, catch and shoot. Doesn't get it. Crable got some fingers to it, but rebound for Paola. Panthers holding on to the ball as best they can. Cardinals trying really hard to get it away.
Panthers are executing near perfect here, though, just doing such a good job of playing that slight game of keep away while also being as clean as possible, minimizing penalties. Can't say the same for the Cards here.
Wow. Messy there for the Cardinals to commit a foul. Hoffine was totally trapped with 8 seconds on the shot clock.
They had him in a good spot.
Yeah, able to just lean forward and draw a foul.
Misses the first.
Jackson Smith comes in as well as Keelan Duncan. Hoffine 0 for 4 at the line in this one.
It's an
Watson
interesting
moving
stat.
quickly.
As well as he's played today. It's an interesting statistic.
Smith in the corner didn't want to take the shot. Duncan, it rolls off his hands. So it's looking more and more like Paola will be winning this game at this point, which is a big loss for the Cardinals. You could completely understand the losses to Ottawa and Baldwin, but this one's a little bit tougher to reconcile.
Yeah.
A team that was on a 5-game slip. And yeah, the Cardinals even started half decent, getting the 4-0 lead, but Paola has just put some runs together in this one. specifically coming out of the third quarter. That was a huge run. They went on 13-0 to start the third quarter, and it just hasn't really come back for the Cardinals. They've really struggled to score. They put up 8 in the third quarter, only 5 so far in this one. And now it seems like the team has also gotten frustrated, committing fouls. So not a good recipe for success, but also tough when you're playing without 2 of your most prolific players. It was always going to be hard, but you felt like if there was an opponent that the squad of seniors and Schneider and Otis and co. could
kind of climb back against.
It felt like this could be one of those teams. It's just a team that's having a harder year, to put it how it is, but it seems like they're going to come up short here. They'll fall to 7-8, and it's such a great thing that they won that Tongi tournament because that's something tangible already.
Right, they've already accomplished something. Something that they can look at on a shelf and say, we did that this year.
Right, and I think that's a really special thing for all this team, for these seniors especially. But of course, by the time that state rolls around and districts, they'll want to have a good record to be seeded well against a team that they're favored against. It's going to be a hard road. They have Baldwin once again on the horizon, so it will not be an easy road to try and get back even to 500, let alone above 500.
Yeah, and on the flip side of things, however, credit where it's due to the Panthers. They showed up to play today. They were, as you said, in a 5-game slide, hadn't won a game since January 21st, over 2 weeks ago, nearly 3 weeks ago, actually, and they come in today and just play unbelievably well in all facets of the game, really. They've nearly hit their average of points on the year, and they haven't needed to. They've played so well on defense. They came into today allowing nearly 61 points per game. They have almost cut that in half today for what they've allowed the Cards. So an absolute testament to this Panthers roster showing up here in Eudora to play today. And as we mentioned on the girls' side, this game is a little bit of a preview to another game. 10 days from now, they're going to play again in Paola that time.
Floyd Hoffine goes 2 for 2 there.
Yeah, tough day for the Cards, but a really phenomenal day for the Panthers.
Nice finish from Duncan.
Now nearing the final minute of this one.
Cardinals still pressing, still fighting in this one. And Jerome will commit his 4th foul.
And again, looks like he didn't mean to do it.
Send Curley to the line. Curley grabs his first point. Watson, Jerome, slides in and gets called for a charge. So that's going to be the end of Micaiah Jerome's game as well. He leaves with 3 points here. They announced in that halftime for the Eudora, the Winter Royalty, that he plans to be going to Johnson County Community College, place where I graduated from. Great school to go to. I hope he gets to play there. I don't know if he will be playing basketball there. I'll have to talk to him about that. But Traeger Raider, he'd be following in his footsteps.
Yep, one of the better players on that Johnson County roster, which is saying something as stacked as that roster is. If you've watched Johnson County sports before, they are phenomenal in just about everything they do.
While we're on the topic, Addie Hemphill, who is another one of the nominees, will also be going to Johnson County, and she is committed to play volleyball. Here's Watson. Hesitates, finds some space. Oh, couldn't capitalize.
Crowd would have lit up if he could finish that one off.
And now all by himself is Curley, who just after getting juked by Watson is able to go down and score.
Now under 30 ticks to go in this one. Celebrations already happening over on the Paola side.
Well, the celebrations would be because all of the JV players just stood up and took off their T-shirts, so they're preparing to get in some minutes in this game.
Love it. Once again, big thanks to everyone for joining us over on the Paola side of things tonight. Spending your Friday evenings and Valentine's Day with us, we hope.
Yeah, the Cardinals just in this fourth quarter just couldn't figure it out, but it's a big win for Paola.
It's huge.
To stop the slide. You said they started pretty favorably this year, and they've just dropped 5 straight. So to get back into the win column will be really big. Meanwhile, the Cardinals will lose their 4th in 5. And this one is a little less explicable. Wanger couldn't get it.
As he said, that actually includes, they're going to be 1-4 in their last 5 since that 4-0 run that included that tournament victory. So, you know, when they had that stretch that set our expectations so much higher and really made them look like a different team, haven't really shown that form since.
Cards just going to let this one end. 35-54 is the final score of this one. So Paola get their 5th win. Cards fall below 500 for the first time in a while. They're now 7-8 on the season. When we're back, it's the post-game show. We'll wrap this one up here on the simulcast.
Just like the Cardinals are striving for success, Kaw Valley State Bank's mission is your success. At Kaw Valley State Bank, they provide the best, most efficient, courteous, and professional banking services possible. And at Kaw Valley, they recognize that the customer and their satisfaction is the most important ingredient to growing their community. With all the services you've come to expect from the hometown partner you deserve, Kaw Valley State Bank, online at kvsb.com, a proud supporter of Eudora Schools.
High-quality foods, friendly service, great prices, and a connection to the community that is unsurpassed. That's Jean's Heartland Foods in Eudora. Family-owned, Jean's Heartland Foods offers a convenient one-stop shop, delivering the everyday essentials you need to specialty items from around the world. Jean's friendly staff is here to help you find exactly what you're looking for. You have options when it comes to feeding your family. Choose to support local. Choose Jean's Heartland Foods, 1402 Church Street in Eudora, or online at heartlandfoodstores.com. The MVPs of BBQ. That's Barbed Wire Barbecue in Eudora. Family-owned and operated, Barbed Wire Barbecue delivers great food and small-town hospitality at a valued price. High-quality hickory smoked meats, house seasonings, and time-tested recipes put Barbed Wire Barbecue a cut above the rest. Kick off your weekend with their delicious brunch on Saturdays and Sundays and enjoy game day your way with Barbed Wire Game Day Packs. Visit them at 601 East 10th in Eudora or see their full lineup of flavors at barbedwirebarbecue.com.
Eudora Parks and Recreation is committed to creating community through parks, people, and programs. Their goal is to provide recreational opportunities for the community of Eudora that will enhance and promote a healthy lifestyle for all ages. The Eudora Parks and Recreation Department gives Eudora residents and others from surrounding communities the opportunity for family-oriented activities. Visit their website at eudoraparksandrec.org to view their youth and adult programs, leagues, memberships, facilities, activity guides, and more, and follow them on all social media at Eudora Parks and Rec.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams, surgeries, routine vaccinations, and emergency care.
I just want to thank everybody in the community for trusting us with the care of their animals, and go Dogs!
Schedule an appointment by calling 785-542-3265 or visit eudoravet.com.
All right, post-game show here, which is brought to us by Eudora Animal Hospital. So a 54-35 final score here. It's a doubleheader split as the Lady Cards got the win, but the boys do drop here below 500. Hayden, what are your thoughts on the way that this one played out? And keeping in mind, of course, it's the simulcast, so praise Paola along with talking about what happened for the Cards.
No, I was actually going to start with the Cards because, you know, things didn't quite go their way today. They came out strong in the early first quarter, like you said, took that 4-0 lead, and they hung around for the first quarter early on, and then Paola did end up kind of running away with that one and winning that quarter by 6. The second quarter was narrowly won by the Cards. They were down still a little bit, but into the halftime break made it look like we had a game, right? They got a couple of points late, went on a little bit of a run. They were only down 4 going into the locker room and narrowly won that quarter, and you and I had kind of echoed that for a comeback to happen, that's really, really vital, is to win those quarters, even if just narrowly. And then they came out of the halftime break, and the gloves kind of came off for Paola, right? They said, we don't really want you to hang around anymore, and they just kept up that execution from the second, the best way I can put it, as the kind of stark contrast between these two teams in that second half is that the Panthers simply kept executing and the Cards did not, right? I even mentioned in the halftime show, I said, especially if the Cards fall behind a little bit more coming right out of the break, I want to see that not affect their demeanor too much, not affect the way they play too much. And as a matter of fact, it was almost the opposite seemingly, right? You saw that gap go from 20 to 24 up to 20 to 27 in favor of the Panthers. And that 7-point gap seemed to really change the way the Cards played. You saw their momentum go away. You saw the demeanor kind of change for them on the sideline. And the gloves, as we said, fully came off for Paola from that point. Third and fourth quarter were wins for them, won by 12 in the third quarter, and a 3-point advantage in the fourth when the game looked essentially out of reach already at that point. Still managed to win that quarter. They just played well in all phases of the game. They didn't make a lot of mistakes in that second half, played clean throughout. I mean, I kind of already touched on the Panthers side. Just a really, really nice performance. And, coming into a game, like you said, where they'd been in a slide since starting right at 500 through their first 8 games. They'd lost 5 in a row, and it looked like they were sick of that today. Came out against a really good opponent and did not miss.
Yeah, for the Cards, they fall below 500 for the first time since January 23rd. That was the day before they got a win over Bonner Springs, which put them at 4-4, and they hadn't looked back, but now they are at 7-8. Paola up to a nice 5-9, something to build on for them. And they've got a great team, a team of some seriously high-caliber athletes, some great players. And if they can continue to work as a team, they will be a really, really dangerous force.
Yeah.
So, let's look at some points totals. Bear in mind, I'm missing a few here on the Paola side. Caden Kohi ending with 16, leading the team. Curley with 4, Sanders with 7, Bassett with 3, Murdoch with 1, Hoffine with 10, Hoyt Hoffine with 10, Lane Hoffine with 6, Isaac Hall with 4. On the Cardinals side of things, Micaiah Jerome with 3, Caden Dunback with 3, Crable with 2, Watson with 5, Duncan with 4, Julian Otis with 8, Jackson Smith with 4, and Cash Schneider with 7. There were 3 lead changes in the game. The Cards took the first lead, and then we had that flurry in the second quarter where Cardinals scored a 3, then Paola scored a 3. It was Paola 3, Cardinals 3, Paola 3. I forget which way it went.
Paola, Cards 3.
Yeah. And then
Paola 3, Cards 3, and then Paola got a layup to push it to 15-17, I believe.
Right. That was the only time that the Cardinals had the lead again in this game. The Panthers took it, and then that third quarter is really where it was, a 13-0 run to start the quarter. Mm-hmm. That was just too much for the Cardinals. It was pretty insurmountable at that point. They showed some good fight and pushback, but really weren't able to get anything going. And it's tough to not look at the absences of 2 really influential players, Cy Thomas, Ryan Osborne. Don't know what that is or what that looks like for the rest of this season, but they were on the bench here. They were here. They were present, which is something.
They're actually sitting on the sidelines, still high-fiving everybody when they came across. And
so hopefully that is a positive sign as things go forward here this season. But, it was tough to play a great Paola team, and in the end, Paola won. Meanwhile, we did have the Winter Royalty. We've got King Errol Seaman on the basketball team, and also Queen Hannah Keltner. Looking at these point tallies, you've got to pick a player of the game. We'll do one on both sides. I feel like it's tough to look past Kohi, but for Paola, I kind of have to give it to Hoyt Hoffine.
I was going to
because he was the difference. He was that third quarter run that won them this game.
Yep.
He was missing those threes in the first half, and then he hit 2 of them, and including a long 2 as well in the third quarter. And so even though Kohi leading scorer for the Paola side of things, you have to give it to Hoyt Hoffine as that player of the game. And then on the Cardinals side of things, I don't know. It's tough to looking around. I like Julian Otis.
I was thinking when you were reading out point totals, I said I think we could give this one to Otis. He's a legit contender for how he played on those threes.
He led the team and was just so composed. It was the free throws, it was the threes, it was the timely playing, the effort all over the place. So yeah, a recent addition to the. I mean, not a recent addition. He's been in the atmosphere of the varsity squad, but
a recent factor.
Yeah, getting some serious minutes now, Julian Otis, and we'll go ahead and give him that Who's Smoking Player of the Game from Barbed Wire Barbecue. So, unless we've got anything else here, I guess we should look at what is next up here.
Well, I had the games marked for the Paola Panthers. It is going to be at Spring Hill on the 18th of this month. I believe that is a Tuesday night. And then on that same night, next up for the Cards is going to be at Lewisburg. That one will be broadcasted there as well on the 18th. So I believe those are both Tuesday night broadcasts for both of these teams.
At Lewisburg?
At Lewisburg.
So we've got a simulcast then. The Lewisburg crew will be carrying you through that one.
I'll confirm that while we're sitting here going over it, but I do believe so.
All right. So, yeah, so that would be the Spring Hill. And then was it at Spring Hill as well for Paola? So on the Paola side of things, you'll have the Spring Hill crew. And on the Eudora side of things on Tuesday, you will have the Lewisburg crew. So, yeah, thank you so much for tuning in on this doubleheader split. Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you had a good one. Thank you for spending your Friday night with us. Go Cardinals, go Panthers, and good night.